Thank you, everyone. And I think appropriate way to start this, if you agree, you can let me know in the chat section what do you think. I would like to lead a short gratitude practice. I think it's relevant because that's a non-negotiable part, negotiable part of my day. It's been for a couple of years, and especially last year and a half, I really doubled down on it, and more than just time and consistency, devoted more energy and attention and intention into it. So for some of you who are further away to the west, your day has just started. For some of you, it's a midday. For some of you, it's evening. But I think it's, even though I practice gratitude in the morning, I think any part of the day is good for gratitude. So if that's okay, I would like to take a couple of minutes. After all, we will be talking about mental health, and I think gratitude is an important part of it. I will lead you partially through how I do it, some things that I cover each morning with myself. I will not cover everything because some of it is really personal and relevant only to my life, but you will fit the missing pieces according to your life, your situation. Okay. We have someone saying that just starting his day, so beautiful. I will be saying thank you. Who am I saying thank you, or to what? To be honest, I'm not sure. So I leave it up to you to decide who you're saying. Hello, we have someone new coming in. So you will decide when you're saying thank you towards who is that directed. Probably for most of you towards something greater than you. You will decide how specific that needs to be. For me, if you care or if you're curious, it's not really specific. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being here with me. Thank you that I'm able to think clearly enough to engage in this day and to arrive at this opportunity. Thank you that I'm able to, to see, to hear, to smell, to touch. Thank you for all the blessings in my life. Thank you for all the help, support, and attention I received. Thank you for the greatest blessing in my life, and that's people. Thank you because I have felt what it's like to love and to be loved. At this point, I express gratitude towards specific people in my life. So I invite you to take a couple of moments to remember and to express gratitude towards people in your life who deserve it. I express gratitude that those of my loved ones who are alive, I express gratitude that I'm still able to have them in my life physically. I'm grateful for their health. And if they're not healthy, I'm grateful simply because they're alive. I'm grateful for all the support help, and love I've received from them. I'm here to express gratitude, so I don't ask for anything but one thing. I ask to be able to repay them for all the support and gratitude, for all the support and love and help that I received. I ask to be able to make their lives better while they're still alive. Thank you for those who are not with me anymore physically. Thank you for having the opportunity to spend time with them. Thank you for all the help, support, and love I received from them. Now we get to something that I hope you remember. Of course, I hope that you remember this whole practice, but be with me now. Thank you for all the troubles. Thank you for all the pain. Thank you for all the obstacles. Thank you for all the misfortune. Thank you for all the tragedy. Thank you for all the misery. Thank you. Because all of those turned out to be challenges that have made me wiser, better, more compassionate, stronger, more complete human being. But I must remember that I am the one who took them as challenges. I am the one who interpreted them as challenges. Thank you for being given opportunity to engage in those obstacles, troubles, pain, misfortune as challenges. I want my life to be a testimony, not just of my ability, but of human ability, undeniable human ability, that every and each one of us can face the facts of their life, can take those problems, obstacles, pain and suffering head on, engage with them, fight, bear what is unavoidable and necessary, overcome what is possible, and come out on the other side wiser, more compassionate, stronger, better, more complete human being. Thank you for being given the opportunity to set an example of this human ability and to help others realize that this ability lies in them as well. Thank you for this beautiful, strange adventure, this epic journey called life. I wouldn't trade any single moment of my life in any single way. And I wouldn't trade any single moment of my life for anything. Because I know that each and every moment of my life was necessary for this right now. I know that each and every moment of my life was necessary for this moment and for this unconditional love, passion, and enthusiasm towards life. Thank you. Thank you for being patient and going through this with me. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel more prepared for this conversation. I hope you feel more present, more focused. You can let me know what are your thoughts on this gratitude practice. You can let me know if you have your own gratitude practice developed as a habit. Excuse me. You can tell me how this sounds to you. Is this weird to you? Is it cringe? If it's cringe, completely, I understand. This is my first time sharing it with someone, to be completely honest. I've never shared it with anyone because I do it on my own every morning, but I do it out loud. Does gratitude breed humility or vice versa? That's a really good question. That's like what's chicken or the egg, right? Question: what comes first, chicken or the egg? Does gratitude breed humility or vice versa? I would say, what I want to say. I want to say, so I will believe that, and I will maintain that attitude that gratitude breeds humility. Because humility is usually something that we perceive as a character trait that someone has or doesn't have. But gratitude is something that it's up to you. It's up to you to take that step. Just to center myself here, to pay attention, not to hurt my back, because maybe this is going to last for a while. Thank you once again. Okay, men's mental health. Maybe you saw the announcement that I shared on Instagram stories that I would like to cover 3 things. Establishing balance between toughness and vulnerability, which I think it's relevant. It's relevant for all humans, but especially for men. Balancing toughness and vulnerability. Vulnerability. Hopefully, I will be able to say it decently enough. But we have one question. Whenever I try to be grateful, I feel I'm imposing myself the necessity to do so, but I don't recall accomplishing the feeling of gratefulness. Is it a matter of time and practice that I will say 1000%? It's a matter of time. 1000%. It's a matter of time and that's the thing, that we look at gratitude as something vague, a feeling that comes to you from above. Let's say from above. But I know it takes some magic out of it to say that gratitude is about practice and discipline. But that's it. Gratitude does require effort. You see that I'm not quick to answer. You already saw, and you will see that I'm not quick to answer every question like I know everything. But when you ask me, is gratitude about feeling gratitude, truly feeling? Is it about time? Yes. I have experienced that. I have witnessed that in other people. So that's something that I stand strongly for. That you need to put in the days. And sometimes, I had, where is this? Hvala. That's in my language. Thank you. Amor fati. Amor fati memento mori, kokoro moje se. I have repeated these 4 phrases, 4 or 5, 4, definitely 10,000 times in my life. But there were a lot of days where I just, because it's a practice for me, so I just repeat them throughout the day. And when that happens, I don't feel it. I don't feel when I say hvala, I don't feel it every time. But when I take 15 minutes out of my day to really go through this, thank you for this, thank you for this, and when I repeat, you cannot not feel it. Just allow me to catch up on the chat. Just to, because the same person said, okay, how do you put this into practice? Wake up if you feel that you don't have enough time, wake up every day 15 minutes earlier and just recite all the things that you can possibly remember that you should be grateful for. I don't know when you joined the live, but maybe you noticed that I started with thank you for me being alive, thank you for waking up and having this opportunity to be here, thank you for being able to see and hear and taste and smell Thank you for being able to read. So you will find things to list. We have question. What does the last line mean? It means set your heart ablaze, ablaze, like set a fire in your heart. It reminds me of living passionately. It comes from anime. It comes from anime. Thank you for asking this question. And we have a question: what's your opinion on how religion improves uh, mental health? Are you religious of any kind? Thank you for this question. I mean, religion, the effect of religion on someone's day. Sorry, not on someone's day. I'm reading and talking at the same time. Apologies. Effects of religion on someone's life, mental health. That's a broad topic, so I have to stop myself from uh, going on a too big of a tangent. Mental health. I don't feel that I'm in position to say to people be religious because I don't go to church or mosque or Buddhist temple. So I'm not a practitioner of any religion. But and I still do have my issues with religion, to be completely honest, especially towards dogmatic, organized religion that is unaccepting of other cultures. I do have a big issue with it. But religion, as you developing true faith, I think it brings a lot of peace and stability in someone's life. So sorry for me, kind of being on on the fence, not wanting to make a stronger stance, but I think it's clear enough when I say you developing faith, true faith. I think it helps immensely. We have. Do you often list many of the same gratitudes daily? Yes, yes. And to be completely honest, maybe it's 5% of my gratitude practice will be something new, especially if some big change is happening in my life. But the vast majority of it is just repeating the same every single morning. And I found that for me, it helps to repeat the same things. I skip the part when I dedicate a lot to people in my life because I know not everyone is blessed to the same extent, but I'm extremely blessed with people in my life. So, I can list a lot of people that I'm grateful for. And I spend a lot of time naming them, and then for some who are special and in my life stand above others, then I expand a little bit on why I'm grateful to them. And when I'm expressing gratitude towards my struggles and pains and obstacles, I also list them. Some of them, and also some other blessings. Yes, yes. Uh, I can share it here because we are now developing a stronger connection. When I am grateful for my blessings, just remember everything that I'm sharing. This is about you. Everything that I'm sharing. If I'm sharing something personal, it's with an idea that it might help you, because this is not about me. I say thank you when I'm counting my blessings. I say thank you for my life being saved, and I say thank you for. I never said it out loud, so it's a little bit difficult to even say it. But I say thank you for my life being saved in 2021, and then I say thank you for my soul being saved in 2022. But I can now tell you that in 2021, I wasn't feeling grateful. I did have my gratitude practice, but I wasn't capable of feeling truly grateful, at least not for that aspect of my life, that situation that I now call my life being saved. I was grateful for my family and for other things. And also, last year, I wasn't saying thank you for the fact that I feel like I'm losing myself completely. But now I say thank you because my soul was saved in 2022. Now again, this is not I'm not pushing religion on you. Any plans for a new book in the future? And that's something that we'll discuss another time. Thank you. Whenever someone asks that, that's really an honor and compliment to receive that question. So really thank you. Thank you for even asking, but that's topic for another time. I have ideas, but timeline of my personal projects is a little bit different right now. Advice on letting go. Sometimes we move from apologies from traumatic life-changing experiences, sometimes past memories or intrusive thoughts attack us out of nowhere. Letting go is, I'm not escaping your question. It's a broad topic, so I'm happy that you said. I mean, not happy, but thank you for being a bit more precise and talking about traumatic, life-changing experiences and intrusive thoughts, because it's different letting go of the mistakes that you've made and of the times that you've been hurt, which are painful, but maybe don't trigger, when you think about those things, don't trigger strong physical response. And then there are experiences which have been traumatic, and maybe these intrusive thoughts, like you say, attack you out of nowhere. Okay, let's do it like this. First thing that I want to talk about, balancing vulnerability. It's going to be a challenge to pronounce it, and toughness. I will touch on that, but I promise to speak more in depth and dedicate specific, if not during this video, then complete video dedicated to letting go. First, I don't have all the answers about letting go, but there are some practices that I've been trying. A lot of them involve journaling, and I've been doing a lot of it, really a lot. And I can tell you that just wanted to ask, because probably a lot of men deal with it in silence. I completely agree. That's what I will touch on that now. I've been doing a lot of, but not just journaling. I think even just dumping out your thoughts on paper helps, but there are specific journaling exercises that I promise to talk about. And also, we have another new one, at least new in terms of being available to general population, is that Andrew Huberman is talking about recently. So I still haven't started doing it, but maybe we can all together start doing it. So I will not forget. And you, if you, I guess that you're a subscriber and follower, just stay up to date with what I'm posting, because I will be posting about it, and we can together start doing these 15-minute exercises that have been shown to really help people deal with past experiences. When expressing gratitude, who do you express gratitude to? I said that before. I cannot answer that. Not because I don't want to. I don't have precise idea in my mind. That's the best answer that I can give you. But I encourage everyone to, you decide who do you who you express gratitude to. Okay, let's see where is. We have one. Also, I decided to compromise looking cool and delivering value. So I'm not really a tech guy, so I don't have some kind of prompter. I just printed out some things that I want to keep as notes, because we have someone asked, can you talk more about balance between I have been in a romantic relationship. Yes, I have been. Of course, you need to balance toughness and vulnerability. That's something that I have had experience with. But you probably saw what I talk often on Instagram. I know that some people had negative experiences, but if we want, I recently had a conversation about that with a friend. I fully understand that when the negative experience is still fresh, the natural response is feeling of resentment and frustration, having a negative attitude, but towards long-term relationships. But real courage and strength is in allowing some time to pass and taking on the attitude that this was a one experience, or maybe you had a couple of them, but not never succumbing to the idea that that's how all relationships turn out if you had negative experience. But you're maybe I went on a tangent because you were talking about establishing balance with toughness and vulnerability inside relationship. We will now address that. Just a second. Okay. Sorry. I was a little bit messy. Okay. Let's talk. If you agree, I will. You can keep asking questions, but I will now start a little bit talking about what I wanted to talk about: establishing balance between toughness and vulnerability. You can, while I'm talking, you can ask questions about what I'm talking about. You can also, maybe if you're able to remember the questions that you have unrelated to this specific topic, you can maybe save them for later if you're able to remember. If you're afraid that you will forget them, ask, and I will try to keep track and answer maybe when I finish, let's say, this first part. First, I have a question for you. Did you ever had a experience or a period? Did you okay? Did you ever have an experience or a period of life where you've been feeling down, or like we had our friend mention, traumatic experience? Did you ever have something really trouble you, really deeply weigh you down and negatively affect your ability to live your life? You ever had something that was heavy on you, but you thought that if you open up, you will break down and it will be counterproductive? I think this happens with a lot of men, so I want to ask you, did you ever have that? I'm sure it happens with women as well, but I think it's more common with men. So just to make sure that my question is clear, were you ever afraid that if you opened up about something, not afraid of the reaction of the other person, but afraid of what will happen with you if you start opening yourself, if you start expressing what's been going on here and here, if you start expressing that, it will give more power to that thing over you and that you will break down? Were you ever scared to open up for that reason? Not for the reason of how other person will react, but how you will react to the fact that you're now expressing this. That's my question to you. We have one yes. Let's see. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Let's hear what you have to say. I will tell you that that was the case with me. That was the case with me. That prompted me to write about this. So not just fear of how the other person will react, but how I will handle giving voice to the thing that was was weighing me down. So I will start. I will not be extremely specific, but specific enough for you to get enough context and maybe to be able to relate. Around, we said, I think so. If I don't, if I was even, I don't, if I was even confident enough to pin it down to that reason, I think that fear was implicit in my behavior and decision making. Thank you for saying that. Around 3 years ago, I had for the first time. So this page was already. I was already talking about all the things that I'm talking about. I've already experienced, at least on some level. I thought that was a pretty high level, but I experienced anxiety and some kind of existential dread. That's why one of the reasons why I started writing and why I was always interested in topics that I'm interested in. But it kind of culminated around 3 years ago, where for the first time experienced something that I still don't know exactly if it was panic attack or anxiety attack. I know that there is some differences between the two, but at that time I didn't think it was panic attack or anxiety attack. I thought I was losing my mind. That's literally what I thought, that I'm losing touch with reality and that I will not be able to bring myself back to somewhat normal state. And that happened for the first time around 3 years ago. And since then it happened in the span of 1 year. It happened, I think, 3 more times. And around 2 years ago, when it happened, like when it was the strongest, even I haven't digested that experience still. It happened around 2 years ago. I still haven't fully digested that experience. And to be completely honest, besides my loved ones suffering, I have to be honest, that's what I'm most afraid of, going through that experience again. Because if someone experienced something like that, maybe you can relate, but completely being out of touch with, that is witnessing in real time how I'm losing touch with reality and thinking that I'm losing my mind. And let's say that that's enough details. So what happened is that this particular, this strongest one, happened around maybe 2 months before I left home. And the thing is that maybe 1 month before leaving home, I had a small episode where I felt like it's starting again, but it kind of, I just slowly calmed down. And I was scared. What will I do? Because I'm going to leave my home. I'm going to, I made a strong decision and literally burned all bridges, so to say, with my home country. Now I need to go to another side of the world where no one knows me. And what if I have this episode? I'm not able to. In that state of that attack, I would not be able to communicate with anyone. So my I was thinking about different scenarios. If that happened to me, would I be put in some kind of mental institution? Would anyone be able to help me? You imagine, I was afraid, but I was also afraid to talk to anyone. Of where do you live currently? Sorry, I cannot share. We can talk later about it, but I don't disclose my current location. and I also don't have permanent. But I'm in the Eastern Hemisphere, as probably some of you could have guessed. So I want to say that I was afraid to share because I didn't know if. So now this part you can probably relate. I had people that I could open up to, but I was afraid. What if I vocalize this? Will I break down? And now, for those of you who think that my case is extreme, I can tell you that I've now the situation that I'm explaining about being afraid to open up. I've experienced the same situation when struggling to get over a breakup. So that's something that a lot of you can relate to. Thank you. So what I want to say is the fear of opening up, whatever the situation is. This fear is something that is common to all of us. But the fear of what if no one knows about what I'm going through was greater than fear of opening up. And this is something that if you don't take anything else from this live, I would hope that you take this. I realized that I better open up because keeping something too heavy, keeping something too heavy inside for too long, that will break you down. Not opening up. What you're afraid will happen if you open up actually happens if you keep too much inside for too long. Think about it for a moment. I'm convinced that this is true. What you're afraid that will happen if you open up, that is you breaking down, that will happen if you keep too much inside for too long. Sometimes I love thinking that no one around me knows me. I understand to some extent what you think about loving that no one knows you, but if you push it too far, maybe you start feeling alienated. I would be careful about it. Just to thank someone saying that my Instagram page is awesome. Thank you about it. We have trust me, you can go. Nicola saying, trust me, you can go too much to the opposite extreme and open up too much. People get scared when they hear this sort of stuff and they don't expect to hear. I completely agree. So this is why I'm talking about balancing toughness and vulnerability, both for ourselves and for others. And I will now get to that. We have also Dino or Dino, I'm not sure, racing, saying, I think for me, the bigger fear is the fear of opening up to myself. Sometimes I feel like I can talk to others quite passively about myself as a sort of distraction from being honest with myself. This is a great point. This is a great point. I don't encourage you, yes, keep doing this, distract yourself from being on and avoid being honest with yourself. But I commend you for being aware of this. And if you're aware of this, you are already beginning to be honest with yourself. So imagine now, what are you going to keep taking steps back because you have the level of awareness to realize. You see, like, you articulated this really well. So I cannot imagine how I understand, I can relate, but someone being able to articulate this delicate inner situation cannot make steps backward and keep avoiding himself. So thank you for sharing this. Allow me to continue. I said that what you're afraid will happen if you don't open up. Sorry, if you open up will happen if you don't open up. But let's bring balance because we're talking about balance. So I don't want to just vulnerability. Yes, yes, yes. Open up without any. So I want to bring balance, and this some people might not agree with this. And if we have, and next time we will have female audience, and maybe we can talk about this same topic next time all together. But let's see also how you men react. I want to say that this is a little bit, especially today, more controversial, but I do think that opening up too much is dangerous. And again, not so much for the other people. I understand, but also for yourself. Because if you have no, I understand that there are specific moments, unique moments in life where you let everything go and you open up fully. We all need those moments to sort of empty ourselves. But if that's how you go through life, I think that's dangerous. That's dangerous, just like never opening up. I think it's dangerous to open up too much, too intensely, too often. I think you will fall apart. And again, some people watching this will say that this is a terrible message. But as I said, I want to bring balance into this conversation. So my vision of this balance is, I mean, it's not really explanation to say my vision of this balance is finding balance, but I want to say that my vision is opening up just enough to where you know that you're not alone in this world, to where you know that, okay, someone is aware that I'm struggling, someone is aware that I'm going through something. We had someone said that he loves the feeling like no one knows me. If you really have dark moments, you will not love that feeling. If you really go through intensely difficult moments of your life, you will not love the feeling of feeling and thinking that no one knows you. One of the most dangerous things for a human being is to feel alone in this world and completely misunderstood. So that's why I say my vision of balance is not closing yourself off, but not also completely without any restrictions, pouring yourself out every time. But going through life, going through going through your struggles, knowing, okay, even when you feel like you're losing it, like you will be crushed, there is someone who knows what I'm going through. There is someone that I can reach. Where you're from? I'm from Montenegro, Crna Gora, Montenegro. I see it happen a lot. Emilio says, I see it happen a lot with women, especially. They open up too much, too frequently, and they become super soft, thinking they can do anything by themselves without the help of others. I'm sure it happens with some women. Feeling anonymous is a way to escape my troubles. It's not a way to feel strong myself. I encourage you, as we move on through this conversation, I will challenge you and encourage you to find at least one person that you don't pour yourself out necessarily if you're not ready, but give a little bit of yourself, give a little bit of context regarding your journey, so that when the tough times arrive, you know that you're not alone, because you shouldn't be alone. And here I wrote something, because before leaving my home country, I decided to open up to two people, and I established that balance. I never went into full detail. I just said, I'm struggling. I had a couple of situations. I didn't go into detail. because trust me, I could go into detail for a whole day to talk about what happened in those episodes and what thoughts crossed my mind and what thoughts crossed my mind in the following days, because that's not something that you can just get sober from, like a getting drunk. It follows you. So I open up to two people by saying I'm struggling. If at some moment I'm feeling like this is it, I cannot, I will reach out to you. So now, again, this is how I did it. I said, okay, so now I'm not going to fully open up, but I'm telling you that I'm struggling a bit. And I want you to know that, because if there comes a moment where I'm feeling like I'm done, I want to reach out to you. That's how I established this balance. And I said, again, this is relevant to me, but I think you could, I said, in those moments where I think I'm losing my mind and having really dark thoughts, I want to be aware that there is someone in this world who understands that I'm a human being who is capable of being in crisis. I wanted to know that there is someone in the world who doesn't just know me as, okay, this is David, he's disciplined, he likes training and reading, and he's a good son. No, I want someone out there in the world to know. I want to know that there is someone out there who knows that I'm a human being capable of crisis, and that person will not be shocked if I say, I I can't keep going. I was once very hardworking and passionate about my life, but then something happened and it restrained me. And now every time I try to go all out, I always have this constant fear that I will fail. How can I break through this? I will not go too deep into this because it's kind of going off topic, but I would say, because I have a clear idea of what I want to say to you. Why are you setting a standard for yourself that is same as in those days? Because some things happen, some things or something happened to you, and maybe you're still not fully recovered. So why would you set the standard for yourself that now you need to be on that same level? Maybe eventually you will, and I believe you will surpass that level. But now, why don't you set a standard for yourself that is appropriate to where you, I'm not saying expect nothing from yourself, but maybe you should adjust your standards so that you can pick yourself up slowly. But anyone who went through something extraordinary will relate to your problem in some way, regardless if the same thing happened to them or not. Thank you, Nicola, for saying this. I hope. I said establishing this balance. It's like going on a dangerous hike alone. Before you go on a dangerous hike, you always, if you're going alone, which is not advised, but some people do it, you need to tell someone in case that you're not back for too long or that there is extremely bad weather. So this is it. Not everyone, and sometimes no one, can follow you into your struggle. But you want someone to know that you are going through this struggle. If they cannot follow you, so that they know, like in this dangerous hike, they know, okay, he went there. I have this on my mind. So he went there, and this person, and you, when you're alone on that hike, and when the storm hits the mountain, you know, okay, no matter how bad it is, okay, I know someone knows that I'm here. That's a good analogy. Actually, never thought about it that way. Thank you. I spent a lot of time thinking about it, so I'm happy that you think it's a good analogy. I also never described fully out loud what I've experienced in those episodes because I didn't want and don't want to give too much power to those thoughts that I have back then. Maybe one day I will fully express it, but this was me finding this balance. Now another analogy, and I think not, not example, analogy from ultra running. You notice that I really like. How do you think this power transfer occurs? That's a good question. That's something that I think we. I mean, I'm sure eventually, if there isn't already, we will find some. We will have neuroscience find a way to talk about this to explain this, but on a just experiential level, maybe I will be able with this analogy. But let me try to say, I think that I think that fully expressing it, there are points in life where when you fully express something, you're able to let it go. And I advocate for being ready for those moments. But I think more often than not, vocalizing negative thoughts that you had, especially if they still remembering that experience still triggers some even physical response in you, I think it's better to keep it under control. Again, that's what I think. As all of this, what I will say is my opinion. What did you study? I studied in aviation academy, and I was air traffic controller for 4 years, 4 years, or five, 5 years. I was an air traffic controller for 5 years. So yeah, my we'll go into that next time. Off topic, thoughts on red pill and other toxic male influencers. I already had some content about them. I don't respect most of them. I think a lot of their haste. Maybe we'll leave that for another time. I'm trying to bring a more balanced perspective and more healthy perspective in what it. I'm not aspiring to be a male influencer, but I would like to offer a healthier perspective on what it means to be a man. So let's leave it at that because I don't want to give too much attention to that. Analogy for balancing vulnerability and toughness from ultra running. One of the greatest ultra runners alive, Harvey Lewis. I talked about him in a couple of essays. I mentioned him in The Art of Showing Up, my book about consistency. He talks about how he dealt with one moment of crisis in one of his most important races and how he usually deals with those moments. And I think it's a beautiful analogy for balancing toughness and vulnerability. To put some things into context, I will not give you now his biography. Recently, he ran 450 miles or 724 kilometers in 108 hours of non-stop running. So maybe I should repeat it. 450 miles or 724 kilometers in 108 hours of non-stop running. Okay. So why do I like using ultra endurance events, especially running, when I talk about fighting your internal battles and mental health? Because ultra running is probably one of the biggest metaphors for internal battles and for life and for mental health. You need to keep going. You need to keep going, and how you keep going is you focus on next step, and next step, and next step, and next step. No sport, in my opinion, and I'm not ultra runner, and I love weights, and I love having muscle, but no sport and no physical activity, I think, comes close to being a metaphor for life and for internal struggle like ultra running. Okay, let's get back to it. In one podcast, Harvey Lewis talks about this particular important race where he actually ended up winning. He was struggling and he had thoughts of giving up. And he mentions later that up to that race, every time he lost, it was his mind that gave out, not his body. He had thoughts of giving up. On one of those checkpoints, he called one of his team members, crew members, because they have their crew following them on these runs. And he called him and took him aside. And he says, I'm quoting him, told him quietly so that no one can hear, I'm having a rough time, I'm struggling. He didn't even want to vocalize saying, I'm thinking about giving up. He just kept it at, I'm having a rough time, I'm struggling. So this is what I'm saying before. This is also how I perceive it. That more often than not, you should not, especially if you're still going through it, maybe hold on a little bit. Maybe don't just let it all pour out, because it can, especially if the battle is still in front of you, internal battle, maybe hold on for a bit and maybe say, like he said, I'm having a rough time, I'm struggling. He said it quiet that no one else can hear, and he said just that. And his team member understood that it's not, I'm just having a rough time, I'm struggling. It means I'm having a really rough time and I'm about to give up. So that's why it's valuable to have someone that understands you. And we will get, if you think you don't have someone who understands you, we will also get to that. His team member told him to visualize running from home to work and back, because Harvey Lewis is actually a teacher, full-time teacher, who takes the opportunity to run from home to work and back. So this guy told him, visualize that so that there is something familiar and attainable. So instead of thinking about the next 200 miles, just think about, okay, running to and back, school and back, school and back home, school and back home. Something familiar and attainable, and just repeat. So I want to ask you, what is that for you? If you're having a really, really difficult day, first, the main point is to find this balance. But then let's talk about a little bit what you're going to do with yourself. What is that when you're having a really rough day? What is something attainable and manageable? Now we're not talking about running, we're talking about life. Maybe it's preparing a meal for yourself that you've prepared 1,000 times. Okay, so to center yourself, to bring yourself back into this day, to convince yourself that you can get through this day and through the next day, through the next day. Routine, structure, habits. You make the meal. I know I am all for variety, adventure, but that's the spice of life. That's not the foundation of life. So we cannot have spice without the foundation. So preparing the meal that you prepared a lot of times. Doing your stretching. I don't want to advocate now you take kettlebell and swing it 100 times. Do your stretching, do your type of physical activity. read, do your laundry. So that is in our context, day-to-day living. This is this familiar and manageable. But again, back to the main reason why I share this example is this way of opening up. He had someone to whom he could say, okay, I'm having a rough time, I'm struggling. And this person understood, and that's it. He's brought him back to the moment, okay, let's focus. Let's focus on the next step, on this familiar and manageable. Again, there are compassionate self-talk, acknowledging your own presence, the presence of whoever it is in my head, observing my thoughts and actions, inner child or whoever. I think compassionate self-talk works. Acknowledging your own presence works. That does it for me. I'm really happy that you have this. It's been a long time since I've heard someone say this, so I'm really happy to read this. That's amazing tool to have. Of course, I will maybe keep putting out these disclaimers. I am not saying that there aren't moments in life where you will have to just let it all out. But more often than not, I think this balance works. To not give too much time, attention, voice, energy, outlet to those dark thoughts. Short example, not analogy, but example of a conversation I had with a friend relatively recently. And this time it was other way around. This time I was on the receiving end and he established this balance. He was overwhelmed with life, a lot of things going on. And he told me, no, David, I'm not at my best these days. I'm having a bit rough time, kind of tired, kind of overwhelmed. But I know him, and I know he's really overwhelmed. He's really tired, not physically tired. He's overwhelmed. He's been having his fair share of struggles, but he is practicing this balance. I'm curious what women would say. Maybe I will get toasted for saying that this is healthy, but I'm just being honest, talking from personal experience and sharing opinion that how he approached this, I was happy. Yes, I was happy that he find a way to, and let me put it like this: uh, I let I let him know that he can with me open up fully, and he can. I will still respect him as an extremely strong man. I'll let him know that he can open up as much as he wants. I, of course, provided that love and compassion and empathy that maybe some men would consider too soft. I don't. I gave all of that. But then we focused on talking about how strong he is because he's and all the proofs of his strength, not physical, but real life strength. We focused on those small steps that he could take, those familiar and manageable, on what to focus, to center himself on the conquering this day and the next one. Sometimes not conquering, but getting through the day, or more often getting through the day. So I believed that the best thing to do for him, the best thing that I could do is acknowledge I understand that he's struggling, but then and express my love and empathy, but then turn the focus of conversation towards strength and endurance and moving forward and staying on our feet. That's how I see this balance. Now, I want to address those of you who, and I please, okay, don't be shy. I know that there are people watching this. So, those of you who think that you don't have someone in your life that you can open up in this way, you don't have someone with whom you can establish this balance, that you can open up in this balanced way and that they can open up to you in a balanced way. So I would like to hear if you have someone or you don't have someone like this in your life. What do you think or what do you know? Plastic, losing testosterone, as I'm drinking this, I'm already feeling that I'm weaker. Losing testosterone levels with each sip. Okay, if you feel that you don't have someone with whom you can open up in this balanced way, maybe you don't have now. Maybe you need to recognize this person. Maybe that's the case. Maybe you need to recognize this person. But maybe you can learn first to become this person for others before someone becomes that person for you. We have Dino or Dino. I'm still not sure how to pronounce. I definitely feel like I have a good circle of friends and family that lets me feel safe about opening up. I'm truly happy for you. Truly happy for you. It's always beautiful to hear. What I wanted to say is that I invite you, I challenge you, because now we've talked about if you accept this idea, if you would like to have this in your life, this balanced approach to opening up, where you can say to someone, okay, I'm having a rough time, I'm struggling, and you don't need to break down every time. If you like this idea, I invite you or you to become the person who will offer that kind of balanced support to others, because then sooner or later you will receive the same. And I advise that always about everything, everything of this sort, encouragement, support. You be the one for you be that person for someone else. You will receive it. It will come your way. And after all, even before it comes your way, one of the best things that you could do for your mental health, for your inner peace, strength, and stability is being of service to other people. So if you want to have someone that you can open up with in a safe and balanced way, you become that for another person. In Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the pillars of staying sober is being of service to others. That is one of the pillars of staying sober is helping other people get sober and stay sober. So service is one of the pillars. And in I'm not member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not recovering alcoholic. I'm not recovering addict of any sort. But in my mental health struggles, I've drawn a lot of inspiration and wisdom from recovering addicts. They don't get the credit that they deserve. Those are some of the wisest, strongest, and kindest people when they go through their journey. So I draw a lot of inspiration from them, and that's why it's I want to say common sense, but I don't know if it's common sense to be of service to other people. But it's common sense. It's part of every religion, and we also have a relatively modern, real world example of how being of service to others helps you. Maybe it sounds selfish, but let's just put it the way it is. Being of service to others will also help you. And also, you don't have to be a recovering addict. I hope that's clear. You don't have to be a recovering addict to take value from this lesson about service, and from a lot of things from Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12-step program that they developed. You don't have to be necessary addict to get value out of it, or at least not addict in a conventional way, or yeah, conventional way of being addicted to some substance. Balance between toughness and vulnerability. We talked about it. I shared my perspective. I challenged you. You should become that person who allows people to open up in a balanced way and provides this balanced support. So now let's see if you have some questions, or maybe I can start with the second topic, so to say, topic or line of, because this is what I have. I have 23 things. I called it, I just posted it on Instagram story. I didn't really make a huge announcement, but I said that I will talk about 23 things that got me out of depression. To be completely honest, I was never diagnosed with depression, but that's also maybe because I didn't visit who maybe I needed to visit, therapist. I was never diagnosed with depression, but let's put it like this: 23 things that kept me alive. I think that says enough. 23, 23 things that kept me alive. So I can go through them. I don't know, relatively quickly or not, because on some of them I could really, some of them will get dedicated standalone videos, that's for sure. And maybe also I will make a more structured, not live video of this or about this in the future if people are interested. But now let's see. Do you have some questions? Should I go into this, starting to list these 23 things? Write me in the chat box. Should I start? Do you have questions? How are you feeling right now regarding where to proceed? Well, let's see. Go for it. Nicola is my man. Nicola is, I'm pronouncing Nicola. So, maybe Nicola. All right, Nicola. It's not Nicola. Now I'm starting. Okay, people will go from this live because Nicola and myself idemo. Okay, this is Balkan takeover of this live. We have to keep it in English or start the list. Okay, we have some Vuk. This is probably Balkan guy, right? I think he is. Dewey is few minutes behind. I want to share. I have a circle who would listen if I opened up. I fear that opening up would drive them away from me. I like the idea of sharing a little. Okay, that's great. This is already an improvement. So if you like the idea, think about this. Think about trying to establish this balance. If you think these people care about you, and I hope they do, show the list, show the list. Yes, let's go. uh, Dewey, I encourage you to think about this. think about this, to try establishing this balance and open up at least a little bit. Okay, let's start with list. Let's go. How much context should I provide? Let's say that when I talked about gratitude, I said that I feel that in 2022 my soul was saved. Again, I'm not pushing any religion on you. I'm just saying that these are 23 things that kept me alive. So I hope that says enough, because I don't want now to get too deep into this. We're establishing balance between toughness and vulnerability. So allow me to say that when I came to the point of not being happy that I woke up and being terrified of engaging with the day, and then at night being terrified to go asleep and be alone with my thoughts those moments before I go to sleep, and even coming to the point of thinking, if it ever gets better, what's the point? If it ever gets better, what? It doesn't matter. I believe in soul. That was question. So that was where I was at. That was where I was at. I'm sorry receiving chat, and also here another chat receiving fighting support, fighting. So from that point of being terrified to start the day, terrified to go to bed, to be left alone with my thoughts, and thinking that if it ever gets better, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really make any difference. From that I don't want to simplify it now by making some transformation story. You heard my gratitude. I'm grateful. I'm now at a much better place, and these are 23 things that quite literally kept me alive. Thank you for being here once again. Let's get into it. First one. Most of these are in order that not really random order. Maybe kind of in chronological order how they help me. Not important. Sense of responsibility in two ways. First, responsibility towards my family to achieve something that will make their lives better. You could consider this superficial, but that's just the way it is. Responsibility to leave something behind me in a material sense to my mother, my sister-in-law, and my nephews. Sense of responsibility to make their lives easier. Now, I'm saying to you, there are people who made your life better. Or if you don't perceive that they made your life better, there are people out there that you love. Take it as responsibility. You don't have to view it like me that you have some responsibility to materially support them in material sense, but take it as your responsibility to make their lives better in some sense, to create new memories together. Second way, a second form of responsibility, or how, when it became so difficult that this first sense of responsibility wasn't enough to keep me going, then the sense of responsibility is to at least not make their lives more miserable. Because if I give up, if I give in to my internal struggle and give up, let's not vocalize what I mean when I say give up, but I'm talking about giving up, really giving up. I'm making their lives miserable in a way that it's difficult to resolve, to repair, to come to peace with. if I can make their lives better, at least I have the responsibility to not make them even more difficult, knowing how much pain I would bring into their lives by giving up. Again, most importantly, pain that is almost impossible to resolve. Dewey said, "Thank you for hosting today. I appreciate this community. I hope I'm available for the next live. There will be a lot of next lives, a lot of videos pre-recorded, so hopefully we'll be here often." I don't know if this is message because you have to go, but either way, thank you. A lot is being said today about how it's selfish uh, for someone to ask from you to keep fighting because of them. No, I think sense of responsibility for other people is extremely valuable. When nothing seems to be working to motivate you to keep afloat in the storms of life, keep in mind the responsibility that at least you don't want to make other people, that is your loved ones, miserable. Second on the list, duty. You could say similar like responsibility, but slightly different. Duty. At one of the lowest points in my life, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, however you want to put it, my friend invited me to be his best man. That night, let's put it like this: we talked it because of the time difference. We talked it was late. It was late at night where I was at, and it was his midday. We had a scheduled call that day. I was feeling so miserable that I was just holding on to the fact that, okay, tonight I have to talk with him. Okay. So that's how I got through that day, to be completely honest. I was waiting for that call. And that day, that night, he invited me to be his best man for a wedding that was supposed to happen 1 year later. And it happened this fall. That night, I made a decision. And every single day, every next day, every single day, I renewed this decision that I have to show up to that wedding being all that I can be. First and foremost, I promised myself that I cannot show up mentally and spiritually broken and unstable as I was at that point, that I cannot show up to the wedding that way. Second, I decided that I have to add some real world value to my character, because that's what I always knew I'm capable of and always strived for. But I was almost broken. And this duty, in my culture, is duty to be a best man, to be worthy of being a best man on someone's wedding. This duty reignited my determination to be the person that I know I can be. I knew I had to become what I once knew I could be, to honor him because he deserved the best possible best man. Interesting thing is that, as fate would have it or as it would not have it, I wasn't able to attend the wedding. It was physically, let's say, impossible. So I became that person that I wanted to be. I didn't get the chance to attend the wedding. So imagine how interesting, bittersweet personal moment, but duty. Number one, responsibility. Number two, duty. Number three, consistency. Consistency. I will never stop talking about consistency and its importance. Usually I talk how it's necessary for moving towards your goals. But I also say, if you've been following me for a while, you know how much I talk about also its importance in your mental health. There are a couple of things that you can do every single day, even on your worst day. It brings stability. It brings stability and confidence that you can get through that day. And three activities for me always were training, reading, writing. And then when I look at it, okay, eating relatively healthy, also paying attention to my hygiene, all of those are matters of consistency. But let's say something that is not basic, like hygiene and eating, reading, training, writing. Consistency, let's not expand it because I've talked so much about it. Just remember, it can keep you in life sometimes when you feel that everything is falling apart around you. But you know that, okay, I can. Because let me give you an example, and I hope a lot of people will see this because this is actually a proud moment for me, but also I hope that you understand your role in all of this. I'm talking about the crisis that I had last year. I still posted on Instagram every single day. You couldn't notice by those posts where I was psychologically and spiritually, but I had people that expected me to show up. That's also duty and consistency. Okay. Number four, getting out of bed as soon as I open my eyes. Let's be clear about this. If you're waking up alone in your bed, there is no reason, no excuse for you to stay in bed. I have to be blunt about this. I don't want to pretend that I'm David Goggins, but if you wake up alone in your bed in the morning, there is no excuse, no reason for you to stay in bed. Why? I don't want now to talk about scientific implications of this and how it affects your hormones and blah blah blah. I don't want to get into this. This is non-negotiable. Under normal circumstances, if you lay around once you wake up, uh, it's a sign that you're being lazy. Let's just put it like this. It's a sign that you're being lazy. It's not good, but it's not really alarming because most people are lazy. So you're doing basically what most people are doing. But when you're struggling internally, when you're struggling mentally, staying in bed after you wake up is not anymore just a sign of laziness. It's not even at all a sign of laziness. It's a sign of you slowly giving up and probably feeling sorry for yourself. And that's alarming. Now you're laying around in bed after you're waking up. Now it's not just what most people are doing. I've experienced physiological effects of what I consider is depression, where you are moving through the day like it's through mud, slowly. Difficult. It's difficult to move physically throughout the day. So I understand that there are people who are battling depression on a level where really they're having a difficult time performing, let's say, almost basic physical functions. But I cannot allow myself or you ever to think that your mental state can bring you to the level where you're not capable of getting out of bed. So let's be clear about this. You have all my compassion and empathy and love and support. But no matter how hard it is, we cannot accept the idea that your mental state can make you incapable of getting out of bed in the morning. Number five, not looking at my phone for the first hour of the day. That's something that I've been practicing for at least 4 years with pretty good consistency and precision, and yeah, just 99% of the time in those last, or 97% of the time in the last 4 years. But it became increasingly important during a period of struggle, because when after waking up your first thoughts are of fear, confusion, mental and spiritual discomfort and exhaustion, and thoughts of meaninglessness, that's when you are most prone to grabbing your phone right away to start with your distractions. This is when it's most dangerous to start your day with distractions, because it only slows you down. It drags you in even further into the mud that you're already in, because it's a paradox. Actually, you're bombarded with stimuli, with different stimuli, so everything is moving fast but you are slow. Maybe this makes sense. Charles, I think Charles Maxwell is saying, and it says the tone for the rest of the day. Absolutely, absolutely. So everything around you is chaotic, because that's what is when you open your. It's a chaos. Everything around you is chaotic, and you are slow, lethargic, without energy. So imagine, because of that perspective, you are even more lethargic. I hope it makes sense how I painted this picture. Don't use your phone. Again, I mean, this is not preaching. This is sharing what worked for me. But start with half an hour. Start with 20 minutes if you consider yourself addicted to your phone. But when you get to 1 hour, it will change your life if you haven't been practicing that up until now. Number 6, going out for a walk as soon as possible after waking up. This is one of the most important and most impactful life changing habits that I've made in the past 2 years. Going out for a walk as soon as I wake up. There are science based arguments for going for a walk in the morning. It forward ambulation, that is moving forward, reduces the activity of amygdala, the part of the brain that has a role in regulating anxiety, fear, etc. So by moving forward, you're literally reducing anxiety. Something that I can confirm actually, or when I had one of those episodes later on, it the anxiety was like kind of starting, and forward ambulation really helped. But let's put science aside. It's all good, but let's put it in a symbolic perspective of when you wake up, and after waking up you go for a walk right away. You're making a statement, even if it's a sluggish walk and you don't feel enthusiastic. And maybe especially in those situations and under those circumstances, when you are feeling sluggish but you go out and take a walk, you are making a statement that you are the person who is setting the tone. Like our friend Charles said, you are setting the tone for this day. You're taking to the extent, excuse me, to the extent that you are able to, you're taking control over your day. Even if you are feeling down, you are starting your day moving forward. So imagine the symbolic significance of that, almost metaphysical. I understand some of you start work really early, and somewhere it's raining and snowing. If you cannot wake up 15 minutes earlier and take a walk around your building, 100 meters, 200, if you cannot take a walk through your apartment, also consider this. If you're struggling mentally, I think you have to find a way to wake up earlier and go outside, even if it's freezing and raining, to go outside and move your body once you as soon as you wake up. consider this: if you're struggling and having difficult time being alone with your thoughts, maybe you're spending too much time sitting with your thoughts. Maybe you should go out and walk with your thoughts. Now I know this sounds like some woo-woo talk, but bear with me. Unless it's raining cats and dogs, it won't kill you. I think that especially if someone is in a need of getting back on their feet again, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, I think there is no excuse. Try walking with your thoughts. Instead of sitting and letting your thoughts press on you, try walking with your thoughts. You're kind of on an even playing field when you're walking. They will not maybe disappear, but when you walk, it feels like your thoughts are easier to handle. And I like to imagine, visualize that when I'm walking, my thoughts are not pressing on me like when I'm sitting or laying down. When I'm walking, they can follow me if they want. But again, I am in a position of confidence. I am taking charge. So I think this is even more pronounced at the start of your day. But any time of the day, I think walking is extremely helpful. But again, start your day with walking. And I have one quote about walking from one of my favorite thinkers, Soren Kierkegaard. Charles says, we'll get back to the quote, but Charles says, the voice that tells me to fight back gets much louder outside of my apartment. Even if I see nobody else, it provides a little perspective, showing the world is larger than any of our problems. This is amazing. This is amazing. Let's see if we can screenshot this or maybe take a phone. Amazing, Charles. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this perspective. I love it. I love it. Let's see what Soren Kierkegaard said about walking. Above all, do not lose your desire to walk. Every day, I walk myself into a state of well being, and I walk away from every illness. I have walked myself into my best thoughts. Nietzsche said almost the same without ever reading Kierkegaard. I have walked myself into my best thoughts, and I know of no thought so burdensome that one cannot walk away from it. But by sitting still, the more one sits still, the closer one comes to feeling ill. It even rhymes. Thus, if one just keeps on walking, everything will be all right. I don't want to promise you that everything will be all right if you just keep walking, but I would pay attention to what Kierkegaard said. And Nietzsche also said that all of his best idea came from movement, and also said that the biggest sin against Holy Spirit, Nietzsche, the Antichrist, said the biggest sin against Holy Spirit is sedentary life, sitting. Yes, yes. Nietzsche said, warn against trusting thoughts that which did not come from movement. Yes, this is getting amazing. So, number 6 was what helped me. Again, I know that maybe at some points this gets the tone of me preaching, but I'm sharing what helped me getting out for a walk as soon as I wake up. 7, sunlight viewing. Okay, this is probably the only thing on this list that was adopted only and solely because of the science-based benefits. So sunlight viewing in the morning affects your circadian rhythm, which is extremely important for your physical and mental health. Andrew Huberman has been raving about sunlight viewing for a couple of years, so I will spare you the lecture now. If you are interested, just Google or put on YouTube Andrew Huberman sunlight viewing. Don't do it now, because now you should be watching this, so don't don't leave now. Sunlight viewing. If you're interested to learn more, check out what Andrew Huberman says about it. And I have to say it. I just took what he said and I ran with it. I didn't question it. It became, and it remains to this day, one of my most important habits. That's it. Point number 8. This one, maybe it will be controversial, but it's highly personal and not nutrition advice. Number 8 is skipping breakfast. It helped me. Now, before you jump on me, if you don't like skipping breakfast, wait. I have a tendency to overeat. And I mean really overeat, which maybe you wouldn't expect, but that's the case. It's not an issue, my overeating. If I'm feasting after a really intense workout where I've destroyed myself, like I usually do, then it's not an issue to overeat to feast. But when eating became another form of distraction for me at the start of my day, and it became a form of avoiding actually starting my day and engaging with the world, that's when it became a problem. So not just it was a distraction, it was distraction at the very beginning of the day. Loading myself, to be honest, I was loading myself with what's considered healthy food, whole foods, fruit, some oats or something, protein, but I was loading myself just eating to entertain myself, distract myself from actually starting the day. And for me, it caused brain fog. I became sluggish even more than I was when I woke up. So I went back to what I was doing for years, working, that is writing and reading, usually writing, uh, and working out on an empty stomach. Again, that works for me. I feel sharper when I'm on empty stomach. Empty stomach, I write, work out, and then I can eat. It works for me. Again, personal experience, personal preference, not nutritional advice. You should experiment with meal schedule to see what works for you. I don't invite you to follow what I'm doing. I invite you to not eat the same way you ate when you were 5 or 10 years old. Because a lot of what we were taught, a lot of what most of us were taught, wasn't the best nutritional advice. Also, keep this in mind for those of you who are more sensitive to stimulants, but we will get to that. I don't want to spoil. In sensitive, maybe blood sugar wise, as much as it is beneficial to me to not overeat myself and to stay sharp with an empty stomach, I also had a couple of experiences when I was on a verge of a panic attack from having empty stomach for too long. My blood sugar probably, I don't know, probably dropping, or I'm not sure dropping or rising, because I thought my blood sugar was always stable, and also having multiple coffees. So being pushing your fasting too much can play with your thyroid gland, and thyroid gland is extremely important for a lot of processes in your body, in your brain. So I'm not saying starve yourself, I'm not saying push fasting too far, but staying sharp by working and working out in the day and then eating, that works for me really well. Number 9, intense physical training. I can vividly remember the moment of I was training at my gym in the building that I was living in. We had like a small gym, and I remember the moment of doing one of my OG workouts that those of you who have been following for a while, watched on my rooftop, my original rooftop, and doing that style of workout and feeling like my heart is going to burst out of my chest and thinking, okay, okay, I'm getting back in the game. Thinking that in relation not to my physical fitness, but in relation to my mental state and my mental health struggle. Because for a while I haven't been training that way, and I was thinking, okay, this feeling heart that my heart wants to pop out of my chest, this is okay, I'm getting back in the game. This is even thinking, I remember that moment when I thought, okay, this is the feeling that I live for. I just love it that much. For years, intense physical training has been a one of the pillars of my life, and it kept me stable, kept me sane in some extremely difficult moments, difficult periods of my life. But at some point, when I went away from home for the sake of experimenting, I started visiting different gyms where I was staying and doing conventional bodybuilding style training. Now, I don't have anything against it, but at this point in my life, I can say that that change didn't made me miserable, but contributed to my misery, because that was not the time for me to abandon something that was my pillar of remaining strong and stable. So I'm all for experimenting with your training. Find a physical activity that suits you the best. I encourage that. But if you're looking to get mental, psychological benefits from physical training and you haven't tried getting out of breath, you haven't tried what you should have all this time. So, all respect to bodybuilding style training, powerlifting, whatever your deal is. But if you're not getting out of breath, you're missing out. So, again, this is what worked for me, but also as a friend who cares about you, I encourage you, if you're struggling, try getting out of breath and tell me how that works for you. Let's see, that was number 9, intense physical training. Number 10, training outdoors. Any day of the week, any time of the year. If it's sunny outside and I have the opportunity to do an outdoor workout, I don't care. I don't care what I was supposed to do that day according to my training program. I will make that compromise every single time. Almost every single time. Okay, almost every single time. I will make that compromise of messing up my weekly training routine for the sake of training outdoors. Because I don't have all I didn't always have that opportunity. So now I'm sharing with you. For mental health, getting a good workout out in fresh air, and even if plus if it's sunny, there is no equipment that's more important than that. Again, I'm not talking about reaching your physical goals. I'm not talking about you competing in bodybuilding or powerlifting or CrossFit. I'm talking about you feeling good here and here, feeling energized, enthusiastic, more at peace. No gym, no piece of equipment can replace that. That's how I feel. I will I will finish that point and address 2 messages that I received. Uh, Again, if you have a specific body goal, okay, we are talking about what helped me, and what I believe can help you for your mental health. Uh, I've also written about this recently. I understand the symbolism of going into a dark gym and dungeon style gym, hardcore, and exorcising your demons through heavyweight training. I understand it. I think it's cool. I love that. I understand the sort of dark vibe around training. But what I've been that was for me for years. Training was uh, my aggressive part of the day, so I can relate to that. But I invite you to go outside and work out in the sun. I invite you to uh, view exercise, start viewing exercise at least occasionally as a uh, force of light and positivity, and not just aggression and uh, letting my demons out. I challenge you to view exercise as a celebration of your life, celebration of your body, even if it's not really sunny where you are, but still fresh air. I know this time of the year is tricky for most of you because now it's the day is shorter and it's colder outside and it's raining in a lot of places. But when you have the opportunity during daytime, I think during daytime it's still brighter than even during winter. It's daytime in most places still brighter than a lot of gyms. So number 10, training outdoors helped me immensely. Number 11. Oh, sorry, I said I will address messages. Morning run covers so many of your points on your list at once. That's the point I hope uh, someone will make. Nicola is the MVP of this live. Yes, yes, morning run is. I don't want to start talking so much about it so early. Not talking about this live. I'm talking about in general, because I've only recently started doing morning runs, so I don't want now to be this guy who did something 10 times in his life and now he's swearing by it. But morning run is for me this what I'm celebration of life, to be honest. Cash elite, bro. I've been watching your channel for like 2 months. I just tell myself don't ever go a day without working out. I just do burpees, push-ups and jumping jacks until I feel like I'm going to die. This is It's an honor to read this. If I had an influence of you working out every day and developing this habit, I'm really honored. And I invite you to, because I'm not sure how to navigate it, I invite you to drop a comment on one of my Instagram posts so that we can. I don't know if I can provide some more tips about training or just exchange some more thoughts about developing this habit and maintaining it. But thank you for this comment. Number 11 on this list, what helped me, limiting caffeine consumption, coming from someone who has a blog and newsletter called Existential Espresso. It's simple. Too much caffeine, and in some cases any amount of caffeine, will make you jittery and on the edge and cause anxiety. There is no way around it. There have been countless of studies on how caffeine can negatively affect people who are prone to anxiety. I am obviously prone to anxiety, and I just had to make peace with the fact that I have to be really, really careful with my caffeine consumption. So I had periods of time during the most troubling time last year. I completely cut it out, and I loved it. I loved it. But again, I also love caffeine, so I reintroduced it and had again periods of coming off of it completely. Uh, I'm not preaching that you should stop consuming coffee, but if you are an anxious person and you never consider and you're a coffee lover, you just have to give that a try, because I can tell you from personal experience that most of us forget what it's like not drinking coffee. When you get back to that baseline, you realize that you like coffee because you're getting high. I mean, I can admit it. Most of the times I want coffee because I have now come to realization I'm getting high of coffee. It's not really stable fuel for me. For me, it rarely works as some kind of stable energy, providing me stable energy. Rarely. I still love it. I will still drink it, probably on and off for the rest of my life. Charles saying made the switch from coffee to tea makes me much less dependent on it day to day. No caffeine plus working out every day solved most of my problems with restlessness. I think that's a perfect example and encourage everyone to consider this. I've also been switching to tea. Green tea has caffeine plus L-theanine, which is provides this stability and doesn't no jitters. Matcha. I hated matcha when I first tried it, but I've been even recently drinking a bit matcha. I think that's great. Also, working out in working out every day, people think working out exhausts you. Working out stabilizes your energy levels. Okay, so that was number 11, limiting caffeine consumption. Number 12, engaging in house chores. This is something that I considered a laughable advice a couple of years ago. So life sometimes tells you, okay, now you're laughing at someone with your inflated ego. Now you will learn a lesson. Since I was a kid, since I can remember being aware of myself, my mother taught me to keep my room clean. That is our room because my brother and I shared room for the most of our childhood and teenage years. We had separate rooms. Uh, keep your room clean. So I never understood the need to give that as some kind of life advice. It was just always. I thought it was just common sense. You keep your room clean and tidy. When you wake up, you make your bed. Also, that was. I have to be honest. That was for me. I don't know. I didn't understand that. It given some kind of life advice. I guess I've been blessed in that regard and in many other regards with my mother. So I was just taught, okay, when you wake up, you make your bed and you keep your room clean, and that's it. And I did keep my room clean and made my bed, but in the dark moments, dark periods, there had to be the weakest link, and the weakest link for me was laundry. And this is now kind of embarrassing, but I think we are comfortable, and I just feel okay saying it. There was one moment where it was not out of laziness. I am disciplined enough to not allow myself such thing. It was not out of laziness. It was out of emptiness and hopelessness and meaninglessness that one day I just realized that my pile for laundry is so big that I cannot go outside. I don't have underwear. So this is live for people to watch, and I'm sharing this, but it is what it is. So I literally put on pants without having underwear. I know it's gross. I put on my pants without wearing any underwear and bought enough underwear for a couple of days until I do my laundry. And the effect it had on me mentally when I saw that I've done all my laundry, and the effect that it had on me in the upcoming weeks and months when I was still in a dark place mentally, but the positive effect it had on me every time I would see that my laundry is done and that I've did it. I was shocked how potent this positive effect was. Excuse me. So Charles saying small victories. True. Small victories. Again, I'm glad that I received that lesson because again, I mean, even in those darkest days, my my bed was made. I have to say that, and my room was clean by most people's standards. But that laundry episode taught me a lot. Like, you cannot laugh at advice given to other people. We have some joke in our native language, which I'm not sure if it's translatable. I'm now realizing if I translate this, I don't know if it's how they say PG or PC. But yes, engaging in house chores. So as much as I left uh, previously, when someone gives a life advice of not living in a mess, because I thought that's common sense, and for me it was common sense. I've been taught this lesson of how useful it can be for you to engage in your house chores, and how, like Charles says, small victories and give you a sense of accomplishment. Sorry. Testosterone dropped by another 100 points with this sip of water from a plastic bottle. Number 12 was engaging in house chores. Number 13, this is interesting. I talked about it recently with a friend. Working in coffee shops. And the next couple of points are going to be relevant for all of you who are maybe working from laptop, working from home, and also if you're not, it will be relevant for you who are starting to feel this, how do we call it, seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder. So okay, let's get into it. Working in coffee shops. Before I left my home, when I was working as an air traffic controller, so I had a regular job where I would go to my work, that was airport, and that was my working environment, and writing was my side project, passion project, and I would work on it uh, during breaks at work and at home. So my perception of work was, okay, my regular work I'm doing at my workplace, and my passion work I'm doing on my laptop at home or during my work break. So when I left home for the first 4 months, I should say that at home, and when I didn't understand the idea of working in a coffee shop. I didn't understand the idea of working around other people that are not your colleagues. I just My country doesn't have big remote working culture, so I never entertained the idea of working in a coffee shop. I mean, back home I was pretty much limited to not going out anywhere, but still I didn't understand this idea. So when I left my home for the first 4 months, I I was just working in my room that I rented, that is different rooms that I've been renting. I was just working in them, and I didn't understand how bad that was for me, actually. I kept this going, and I was even again judging, being ignorant, judging other people, and then life teaching me a lesson. I was teaching me a lesson. Uh, I saw no point in look at these people sitting in Starbucks working. Like, how pretentious is this? How pretentious you're going somewhere to coffee shop to pay some overpriced coffee to sit next to other people to work, and they are not even your colleagues. How stupid! Those were my thoughts until I was so miserable that I was just trying everything that I can to feel better. Now my misery wasn't again produced specifically by this, but all of these things that accumulate. I was in a foreign country, in foreign countries, where no one speaks my language, and where I wasn't making quick, at least not like really quickly, uh, any real friendships. So feeling completely isolated and alienated, and on top of that, working alone in my room. So just adding to that alienation. And even if I had friends or whatever, some acquaintances or however you call it, still isolating myself because most of the day I'm working most of the day wherever I am, and no matter how many friends I have, most of the day I'm working. That's how my day looks. So I just at one point I said, okay, I have to try changing something. This isn't working anymore. I'm completely completely isolated. I'm out of touch with the real world. So I started, okay, let's try this experience of working at a coffee shop, and just the presence of people around you, how it can help when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling isolated, alienated. Just the presence of one other. 99% of the time when I go to work at coffee shops, I don't interact with anyone. I just order my coffee, say thank you, sit down and work, and that's it. Occasionally someone approaches me. I'm not really a person who will approach anyone. Someone approaches me, and maybe we have small interaction, and that's it. But 99% of the time I'm just there to work. But just presence of other people feels you okay. Okay, I'm not living completely out of touch with the world. We have Nicola saying, or library a bit quieter. All, of course, the library, I haven't had the chance really, simply because where I was at, really to work at library, maybe a couple of times, something similar to library. We have Charles saying other people hold you accountable without even looking at you. It's much easier to give in to your worst instincts when nobody is there to 1000% true. Other people hold you accountable without, yeah, again, I completely agree. And so on a productivity level, it helps, which translates into having a better day, a better week, a better month, a better life. And on an immediate level of making your life better outside productivity is this just being around people, which brings me to point number 14: malls, malls, malls. I could title this again being around people, but it's on purpose that I want to talk about the idea of a mall, because for the longest time I despised malls, because if you do some reading and thinking about the modern culture, mall is almost like a representation of everything that is wrong about the modern culture. You know, this artificial space with artificially controlled temperature and a lot of fake people inside, engaging in consumerism and looking at what status symbol that they can buy right now, and fantasizing about and daydreaming about, okay, one day I will buy this status symbol. So that's what mall represented for me for a long time, and still represents on some level. So I like I say, this despise, hate malls in that regard. But again, when you're feeling isolated, alienated, and lonely, just feeling lonely, uh, going inside a mall, because at the end of it, you are and I am a modern human being, and that's our reality. Going inside a mall is one of the surest ways to bring yourself back into bring yourself back into reality, so to say. Uh, there are a lot of fake people in there, but again, that's me. Again, that's me judging. On some of my most difficult days, going inside the mall made me feel better, because if you're living in a city, for example, now I'm in a more place, how to say, more nature, so I can go walk. But if you're in a city, malls are really accessible to you, and that's where those are actually the most vibrant parts of the city. Going in there and feeling the presence of other people, and I would even say engaging in people watching, not in a creepy way, but observing other people, other colorful characters, imagining what is their backstory, approaching a mall like and not as this what I described before. Leave that aside, which is true. That mall represents a lot of what is bad about modern culture, but put that aside and engage with it as usually the most vibrant place where you will see different characters and just observe them move, walk again, walking forward, ambulation, walking, looking at other people. Uh, I was happy to include this because it's, I think it's unexpected for a lot of people to didn't expect something like this. But this, again, I invite you, I challenge you. If you're struggling, feeling alienated, alone, lonely, go take a walk through the mall. You will laugh. You'll see some interesting people. You will see some beautiful people, attractive people. Don't pay attention to those who, I don't know, who irritate you, who remind you of what you don't like about modern culture. Number 15. Number 15. Real world struggle. So, how now I'm talking about things that help me get out of depression and get out of inner struggle. So, how real world struggle. Uh, so, now I'm talking about external struggle. And this is very much different than the voluntary struggle of physical training, or different. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about real, real world struggle. I remember vividly the day where I was looking at my phone and logging into my uh, bank app, mobile app, and I realized that I'm running out of money. Now, maybe I will dive into more detail about it some other time if anyone is interested and to the extent that I'm comfortable sharing, but I didn't do anything crazy, didn't spend my money irresponsibly. I just made a big decision, left my home country with savings, with non existing online business. And when that business kind of started, it was going really slowly. And at some point, I just realized, okay, I'm running out of money. Even if I'm trying to cut down my cost as much as I can, I'm simply have almost no, excuse me, my income is nowhere near stable, and even that unstable amount is not enough to keep up with my basic necessities. That day, I remember that day, and I love that day now. 1,000 miles away from home. Option is to. I'm not sure. I think I didn't even have enough for a plane ticket. Not I think. I know that at a certain point I didn't even have enough money for a plane ticket to go back home. So I'm now in a position that if I want to go back home as defeated or as a loser, but I don't want to use that word, I have to even ask for my mother or some of my best friends to borrow me money for a ticket. So that's the extent of the brokenness. Is that even real world brokenness? So real world struggle. I was that at that time I was still struggling mentally, struggling psychologically, spiritually. But this, like, it was a sobering experience. It just removed a lot of the mental and spiritual fog and darkness, because in this moment of my life, I just I knew that I have to have to uh, I had to snap out of it. That was the only way, and I did snap out of it. In this moment of my life, the most profound, philosophical, deep, because we care about those things. I care about them. I write about them. You care because you engage with me. The most philosophical, deep, profound thing that I could do is focus on making enough money to sustain myself. You know, at this point in my life, there was nothing superficial about focusing on money. But I have to give credit to myself in also already having tens of thousands of followers. At that point, I still didn't create a some ridiculously priced one-on-one live coaching offer. So I have to give myself a little tap on the back in that regard. when 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 I would need to check my bank account every time before entering a grocery store, I still kept my integrity. I'm proud of that, and I had to share it. Sorry for giving this moment to myself, but I digress. Digress. This real world struggle played such an important role in bringing me back to the real world and getting me out of my head. Out of my head. Now, I'm not saying become broke. I'm just sharing how it helped me and how sometimes when you spend a lot of time inside your head, you will be thankful when you receive a real world struggle. Number 16, zero aggressive and destructive music. This is something, this was one of the initial things I did when my personal growth journey, how I view it, started back in 2015. Because I grew up on rap. I mean, I didn't actually grow up on rap music in my family. We didn't listen to it, but I, as a teenager, raised myself uh, on rap music, and also I listened to a lot of different genres, but rap was big part of my life. And back in 2015, I just decided no more, no more. Okay, to some uh, specific artists that are sending positive messages, and not not talking about what most rap artists, if we can call, if we can even call them artists, are talking about. So just even back then, I decided in 2015, but last year, in the moments of struggle, I decided that no aggressive and destructive music can be allowed anytime, because during these last years I would use it during workouts. And maybe this now sounds too extreme to some people, but that's just what worked for me. I kept it pretty consistent. There were some days maybe where I would allow it during the workout, but also why I'm pointing this out, because I had one friend 2 years ago say how not in the same conversation, but he was struggling with anxiety, and then in another conversation he said how he starts his day with trap music. I don't know. I mean, a lot of you are aware of what is trap music, but I don't know if we all understand it on the same level, what it does to you, to your mind, when you wake up and play trap music. and listen to it from the moment you wake up. Like, how damaging that is to your mind. How did it affect you? How did it affect me cutting off rap music? I mean, I still love rap music, but I just strange to say I love it, but I don't listen to it. I listen to it. Uh, Starting your day with rap music is crazy concept. Nothing against it, but definitely not how you want to start your day. Yeah, yeah. I mean, starting your day with rap music. Again, I'm not saying that people should be extreme like me and never listen to certain type of music. For me, that was I'm maybe an extreme person. I cut it off completely because uh, if I'm not getting ready, maybe to go out, which I'm not doing often, or I'm not working out, what is the purpose of aggressive music? Of extremely upbeat is not because there are upbeat songs that are enthusiastic, hopeful, positive. I'm not now saying just listen to happy music, but I hope we know what we're talking about. Toxic and destructive music, that whether it's on your language on or in English, talking about crime and drugs. Again, I'm not here, I'm not a priest, nor am I a saint. That's music for Friday nights, not Tuesday mornings. That's good. That's a good. This is good quote. I grew up on rap as well, and I always hated people telling me it was bad for kids. But there is something to be said about the influence of trap drill on young kids nowadays. Yeah, trap and drill especially. I think rap is poetry, but uh, a lot a lot of most popular rap, if it can be even called rap songs in the past 15 years, if you play them back, are extremely, I don't want to use word toxic, but yes, even toxic. Sorry. So for me, that was something big. I just wanted to, you know what? Also, I point out I was at a point in my life, especially this part, what I'm talking about, just want to do everything in my power, in my control, to make myself feel more at peace. And I'm a person who is easily influenced by music. My mood is easily influenced. So if I hear a song that is glorifying violence, to be completely honest, I get into it. I really get into it. So I just said to myself, okay, this is not for me. This is not for me. Because there are people who can maybe hear that song and just okay, it's a good beat and that's it. I'm not that kind of person. I really, really get into it and get into that mood, that state of mind. So it was all about for me about peace and sustainable energy. I don't want that crazy spike. So I switched to okay during workouts. I kept it at upbeat, but upbeat, more positive. Again, I know this sounds kind of extreme, but it worked for me. It worked for me. Charles saying, do you think music can be a crutch? I feel like I use it a lot to avoid being alone with my thoughts and to motivate me to do something I don't want. That's a good question. I do think a lot of us use music as crutch, and in the last couple of years, we added podcast to that almost same category. So now we have people who are not listening to music to avoid their thoughts, but listening to a lot of podcasts under the excuse I'm doing that often, but I'm aware of it and trying to balance it. Also listening to podcasts nonstop and telling themselves, okay, this is actually I'm educating myself. But they're using it to, as you said, escape, avoid being alone with their thoughts. And always in this conversation, I say to person, like I say it now to you, Charles, first of all, Good on you for recognizing it. Good on you for admitting it, acknowledging it. That's the biggest step. So, respect to you and good for you. And I hope that this awareness that you have of it and putting it out there, admitting it, you will not just put it aside. That doesn't mean tomorrow go on a music fasting. Just be aware of this. Try. Uh, I've written about this even last year and many times about this, what you're talking about now. I just, it's a daily game of balance because it's difficult for the modern human being now to just completely cut off all podcasts that he or she could listen to and all the music, but also let's try have some moments of stillness and silence throughout the day. Oh, okay. Oh, this is really interesting. Dino, I now think it's Dino, said, feel the same. I think listening to whole albums front to back made me listen less passively, and I used it less as a background music. This is I. We should do a poll. When was the last time that you listened to a album front to back? Really, I'm really curious about this. Nicole saying, in our loneliest moments, we want to feel the presence of something in that room with us, even if it's a device with speakers. Unfortunately, that's true. Or not, or unfortunately, just that's true. That's true. We could keep talking about this for a while, so let me get to the next point. Number 17. Again, I don't want to be preachy, but no partying and no alcohol. It was partially related to this financial struggle that I described because I just had to cut my spending. But also, even before that, or even regardless of that, uh, I am personally not good at controlling myself in terms of alcohol consumption. I've only recently been finding out there is something about our brain chemistry where different people react differently, but I just get really enthusiastic even after one drink. And again, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I am not the best at controlling my alcohol consumption. So I decided no partying in alcohol during that period because I'm not, my self control in that aspect of my life is not at satisfying level. I need to cut my spending, and but spending is not relevant now to mental health and the anxiety that I know everyone expresses because you're you messed up your brain chemistry from too much drinking. The anxiety or depression, I don't know which one is for you. The day after drinking, it's simply not worth it, especially if you're not in the best place mentally generally during that life period like I was born. So if you're struggling, guys, don't escape into alcohol, please. If you're listening to this, so anyone who is listening now and anyone who will listen in the future, please don't escape into alcohol. And I mean, I didn't even put uh, other substances here because I mean, for me that was not necessary to start avoiding them because I wasn't consuming them leading up to that period of my life. Already wasn't consuming anything, so don't escape into alcohol and other psychoactive substances. I know sometimes it gets difficult and that seems like the only thing, but because too often now I see on some quasi motivational posts and kind of posts of men creating for other men to be able to relate to each other's struggles. And then I see comments, yes, bro, only gym and weed are helping me at these moments. Again, I don't want to preach, but if you're admitting that you're escaping I don't want to get too deep into it, but I saying here no partying and alcohol. I mean, if you can party without getting drunk, I respect you really, and I hope you go to party soon. Go party not as soon, as often as you can, but don't escape into psychoactive substances. Number 18. I don't know why I put it at 18, but gratitude. Gratitude. Uh, it's a strange combination with and workout. I also think that I this is really that culture of stoners who are also gym goers. It's really strong. That culture. I don't understand it, but again, who am I to judge? I listen to anime music while working out. Who am I to judge? Number 18, gratitude. We did gratitude practice today when starting this out. Gratitude during my morning walk. I think it's one of the greatest habits that a human being can develop. Using your awareness and attention to focus on the things in life that you're grateful for and expressing that gratitude and being consistent with it during my toughest moments. I kept it. I'm not sure who asked the question about they're not really feeling the gratitude. Is it about time and maybe putting in the hours? Yes, yes. I can proudly say I kept consistent with it and it paid off. It paid off. Gratitude. Number 18. I don't know why number 18, but gratitude. Gratitude, people. I hope that you consider making it a habit. Number 19. We are getting close. We are getting close to the end. Thank you for sticking around for so long. A little more sorry, a little more childlike wonder of the world for the world helped me be much more grateful. It's a beautiful place. I think this is a beautiful message to send out into the world. Uh, okay, maybe I can share this. One part of my gratitude practice is I have helped people and I will help my people because it's my mission to engage fully in life. That's what I say out loud, and then I explain, okay, what does it mean to engage fully in life? To explain to people that they can, then what I say before, what I said today, to explain to people that they can face the facts of their life, engage with their problems, obstacles, struggles, bear what is necessary, overcome what is possible, and come out on the other side stronger, better, wiser, more compassionate, more complete human being. That is engaging fully in life. But also, what is engaging fully in life is maintaining the childlike wonder. So, imagine how happy I am to see you writing this, Charles. That is also. That's what I see as engaging fully in life, and what I hope to help people do is understand this part that you can keep going, you can take these problems and obstacles as challenges and come out stronger. You can and should strive to be more than who you are and more than what you are. So you can keep going, you can strive for more, but in all of that, don't forget the magic of the ordinary life. That's what I get from you. Childlike wonder and magic of the everyday life. Beautiful. Gratitude. Number 19, fiction. Fictional stories. Fictional stories. Again, I don't want to sound too dramatic, but fictional stories saved my life. It's for a reason why us human beings create fictional stories. I would encourage everyone who is maybe a little bit too caught up in being an intellectual who only reads difficult books and serious nonfiction. I would encourage you to read some fiction. I mean, you have geniuses like Dostoevsky who understood human nature and put in fiction what other philosophers put into philosophy works. But also, I encourage you to read fiction that is maybe a little bit less demanding than Dostoevsky, even though I, of course, encourage reading the classics, but I encourage you to read some fiction that will maybe uh, maybe will encourage this childlike wonder. I don't know if you're familiar with genre slice of life. I love it. I love it. Also helps building the habit. Charles is just putting out banger after banger today. Yes, that's also something I wrote. Like I consider it warm up reading. If you're not able now to digest a difficult book, start with what you can read. Amazing, amazing, Charles. Thank you for this. Yes, fiction. Reading fiction before bed really, really helped me, wind down and go to bed easier. Oof, I remember a period of life where the period last year when now when I remember it, I cannot believe what state I was in. But reading fiction before bed, and again, reading my preference something uplifting. I'm not saying read something cheesy and superficial and something low quality. Although, if you do that, I still think it's good. But something uplifting, something hopeful. Don't, I mean, why would you, if you're not in the best mental place right now in your life, why would you read something dark, something heavy? Why? You can leave it for later. Try reading something uplifting. Also, just not to forget, fictional stories convey the eternal, eternal truths. Let's not forget that. Let's give credit to the power of story, the power of myth. Number 20, visiting a bookstore. I talked about coffee shops and malls for the purpose of being around people. Bookstores are to spend time around stories, ideas, and people. You don't have to buy a book every time. I mean, I had a at least I had a habit of going to a bookstore really really nice, especially where I come from. Bookstores are really small, so me spending some time in a really big city and visiting a amazing like bookstore that is bigger than most supermarkets that I visited back home. It was quite an experience for me. And usually bookstores are inside their interior and their atmosphere. It, if you're already a book lover, it really takes you to another world. But even if you're not book lover, you can feel the change compared to other public places. Just spend some time around books. Pick different books, pick them up to see what they're about. Entertain different topics, different ideas. Think about, okay, I could read this one day. It's unreasonable that you will go and buy a book every day, but go once a week. Go a couple of times a week if it's close to you. Just spend some time in a bookstore. It really helped me. Why? I mean, it's free. It's free to go inside and to spend inside 15, 20 minutes. I guarantee if you're someone struggling, go inside the bookstore, spend some time around and see how nice it is. And also, now this is kind of different sort of advice, but if you're a man, Go inside the bookstore. Maybe you meet some cute girl. And if there will be women watching this, because this is public, even if it's men's health talk, if there are women watching this, go to a bookstore. Maybe you meet a handsome or cute or whatever type of man you like. It's a beautiful place, says Charles. No, no, so sorry. I kind of lost track of. I I found one in you. I found one in Cambridge once. Spent a small fortune there. Wow. I would love one day to visit a bookstore in Cambridge. I think that's quite an experience. Uh, Cash or Cash? Sorry for mispronouncing, bro. What's your take on dating? Give me more specific question while I finish the last 3 points, because my take on dating is, of course, I'm all for dating, meeting people, and hopefully finding your long-term partner. But I'm open to a more specific question if you have. Okay, so bookstores, visit bookstores, make your day more beautiful. Free and easy way to make your day more beautiful, interesting, magical. We had Charles talk about childlike wonder. Go to a bookstore and let's see if it helps a little bit reignite that childlike wonder. Kesh, thank you for being more specific with that question. It's a really good question. So allow me just to finish, because we are on number 21 and we have 21, 22, and 23 to finish the list. And I will address your question to give it as much time as we need. 21, talking to loved ones. We talked before about establishing balance between toughness and vulnerability. But this time, I'm not just talking. I'm not even talking about opening up. Just talking to your loved ones. We have we. When I say we, I think most of humanity, or most of Western society, or most of progressive societies lost touch with how important community is. Loved ones, not just family, friends, family. If your partner is if you're in a long distance relationship, so uh, talking to them, interacting with them, especially if you are away, living away from your parents and your friends, parents, if you have them, family. A lot of those difficult days, I wouldn't even open up. I just wanted to hear their voice, to see how they are doing, to even engage in some small talk, and again try to make their day better. Oh, this is Charles saying this is so true. Visiting Southeast Asia showed me that a family can be an entire block or village. That's absolutely true. Recently what I wanted to talk about, but I think maybe it's not really a good time because of everything that is going on in the world. I wanted to talk about how who I'm feeling really sorry for now. I think as I'm maturing a little bit, getting to know the world, I'm feeling sorry for the uh, low class of the first world countries, especially US. I'm feeling sorry for those who have no sense of community, are living in an extremely individualistic society, and they are those who, when they are without a job, and when they are maybe have made some mistakes in their life and are on a downward spiral, they are those who have easiest access to drugs and alcohol and opioids, and the lowest support from community. While in poorer countries, much more difficult access to drugs and cheap pleasures, but sense of community and sense of support much stronger. So we have this idea of, oh, and now I don't want to. I will go on a rant because I'm too passionate about subjects, so I have to contain myself. This idea: Western society is successful because the poor person in the USA is still richer than an average person in Asia or Africa. Do you think that that person is more fulfilled or more? Those are the most miserable people. What are we talking about? We are talking about low class in USA still being rich by world standards. They are the most miserable people in this world. I don't pity, like Charles said, people in Southeast Asia. I don't pity, especially because they are strong people. I don't pity the poor person here because I see how fulfilled they are. They are struggling, but they are full of life. I pity the one in Chicago and San Francisco or wherever who is cracked out of his mind while his parents and friends are living 30 minutes or a couple of hours from him and don't care about him or her. That's who we should pity. And not these stupid comparisons of that low class in USA is richer than most of the world. It's so much easier to feel alienated in big developed cities. So true. Charles said it's hard to watch so many people have their suffering taken advantage of. Really, really, really hard. I've been having a lot of people send me messages recently, I mean, recent months about addiction. Not every, I mean, some of them are talking about less dangerous addictions, but some of them not. And I'm really engaging in terms of thinking about it, studying about it, because I witnessed really on some close people addiction, and you see in the most developed countries and societies how addiction is destroying people. 21 was talking to loved ones. We went on a tangent. Sorry about it. 22 is going to parks. I love this. Again, being surrounded by people, like we're talking about malls and coffee shops, but this time in nature. Those days, even in my darkest period, I didn't have access to nature, like not park, but real nature. So that's why it's not included, because I've included 23 things that helped me in this difficult period of my life. So that's why I included parks, because I had a park that was kind of, I had to commute to that park, so it wasn't really close. And when the weather would allow, and when I was able to commute going to that park, and that's something that I practiced back home, and also when I was studying in nearby country. So you're on a sunny day in park, observing human beings of all ages engaging with the real world. That's one of the most hopeful, encouraging experiences that you can have, talking about daily experiences, not something exceptional, exceptional in terms of being unusual. Maybe this also relates to what Charles said of childlike wonder for the world, or if it's not childlike wonder, then at least getting this sense of the world is a beautiful place. You're in a park on a sunny day. You are watching. You're Imagine this: you are in a park on a sunny day. You're doing a workout, and you watch kids running around and dogs. Which also I love to see dogs running around and playing, and You see older people walking or jogging, and people of all ages doing some kind of physical activity. That they cannot go wrong. And no matter how down you are in that period of life, that day, the day shines a light. It fills you up with energy for the next week. You get your physical activity in. You're surrounded by nature, especially if it's sunny. Looking small life, looking children, is looking new life that is developing. Watching animals running around, and you're watching older people or people your age also engaging with life. I think that's one of the most hopeful, encouraging things that you can witness. That's that's pretty much my perfect day. If on top of that I had a good writing session and I did a workout in park surrounded by people and animals, that's the perfect day for me. Okay, okay. We have living in London. Nothing beats a takeaway tea or coffee on a cold, crispy morning in the park. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm jealous of you now. And Nicola is saying, this one is big for me. Now, when I live in the city center, I miss having a forest nearby. Having a forest nearby is such a privilege. But I hope there is some piece of nature close enough to visit at least once a week or once every 10 days. We, we have arrived at number 23. Oh, thank you everyone for sticking around until number 23. Number 23 special. Realizing it's not about me. It relates to where we started, responsibility and duty. But this is kind of extending it further. And this is now I this is special. This is something special for me because every single day I think about this. I don't want to now sound like I'm really a good person. Every single day I think about this. It's just there is no other way. Realizing that it's not about me. That it's not that I need to get outside of my head and it's not about me, it's about what I can give to the world, is the impact that I can make. We talked about service before. Uh, we talked about service. I don't want us to consider service just as a way of temporarily making yourself feel better, even though that's for example in Alcoholics Anonymous. Sometimes when you're having a rough time, service, focus on others. Yes, service can be a good way to make you instantly feel better, but service is an attitude towards life. Understanding that it's not about you, that the only way to a fulfilled life is looking outside of yourself and looking at who you can help and what what kind of impact you can make on the world. And I I'm not convinced. I know that every single one of you watching this right now, and those of you who are not watching, can have a greater impact than you could ever imagine. And you already had most of you. So that's I left it on purpose for number 23. We started with duty and responsibility, and just expanding it, and not just to those people close by that you feel responsibility and duty towards, but everyone and everything. It's not about you, it's about what you can do for the world. Those are 23 things that got me out of, however you want to put it, got me out of depression, out of a rut, out of a extremely dark place, out of bottom of whatever that pit was. 23 things that kept me alive. Thank you. Oof, now I feel really this is a special moment. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who was who was interested enough to hear all of this. And yes, I'm here because of you. Dino is saying, by far the biggest change I had in my thinking this year was to not take things personally. Sounded really simple when I first heard it, but it's helped me feel grounded in so many situations. I'm happy for, I mean, definitely not easy. Definitely not easy. But I think it's a good way you put it, grounded. Makes you feel grounded. Thank you, guys. Flex the bicep. I'm in a dress shirt, so cannot. And really, I don't train biceps, so I don't do arm workouts. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. For those of you who don't see it, there was a message of flex a bicep. Maybe next time. I promise to be maybe. Oof, oh, no, I cannot promise. I wanted to promise to be in sleeveless shirt, but I cannot promise that. Charles saying, I'm keeping track with all of questions, but I just want to kind of stack it by relevance. Charles saying it will make you feel a lot. Charles saying gotta hit the biceps first to get a pump. Yeah, definitely. Nicola is saying save bicep for live stream with the girls. Yeah, I'm not much of a bicep guy. Before Charles said it will make you feel a lot better if you do it with the right intention. Selfishness is human and forgivable, but it is not strong enough to hold the weight of the world. Oh, beautifully said. I will also take a photo of this one. Thank you, everyone. Bridger Caldwell, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, says you help bring a lot of clarity and meaning to life. You guys don't understand. I really don't take these things, what you say, lightly, I really don't. I have a whole folder on my phone of messages and comments that I received. I cannot always keep track of all of them, but they mean so much. Thank you. Seeing your Instagram posts always reminds me to take a moment to reflect. I want to share with you guys now, and all to those of you that I still haven't answered the question, I will. So please stick around just a bit more. Seeing your Instagram posts always reminds me to take a moment to reflect. I just want to say that thank you so much. I often get people saying that they go on Instagram daily just to check if I posted, and I want to say that that's what I want to be. I want to be that daily hit, not of distraction, that daily hit of hope and encouragement, but not just superficial. Oh, you can do it. Life is good, but hope and encouragement also with a moment, or like a moment, also reflection and some questions that you need to ask yourself. So I want to be that daily shot of encouragement, support, constructive thoughts, constructive ideas, and I want to do this also with YouTube. So you know that I'm the consistency guy, so you can expect me being consistent here, and I really want to become that person that when you go on YouTube, you can play my video because you will get value out of it and not just distraction. I can promise you that. Especially this period now with people getting into this seasonal depression, I think again it's sort of a responsibility now for me to show up here. Now we had question from Arman. I understand you used to go to the gym in the past. Do you think your kettlebell workouts are as effective as the workouts you did in the gym in terms of building an aesthetic physique? And we have one that I didn't answer before from Cash about should you date when you're getting yourself together or should you just stay isolated? Both really good questions. Let's see. Cash has been waiting a lot. Cash, are you still here? You sent this before. Cash, you will get your answer. So please be here. Arman, I can maybe answer. Cash, I will now answer. Just because Arman is something that is maybe topic for a whole video. All of these questions are topics for Arman. Listen, if you're looking purely, if your main and by far main goal is building muscle and aesthetic physique, of course, the more equipment do you have at your disposal, the better. Also take this with a grain of salt because some people get confused and distracted by too much equipment. But in theory, if you're not easily distractible, if your main by far the main goal is building muscle and developing aesthetic physique, yes, of course, gym has huge advantage over just my minimalistic workouts. But if you know how to train and express this interest, thank you for asking here. Put it in my comments on Instagram and express this. Say now if you're interested. I will make a whole video of this because you know how much I can talk about training techniques that are completely forgotten. If any of you are interested in building muscle, when did you hear about density training? Something being dense. What do you hear? You hear about increasing reps and increasing. Hvala, brate moj. We had my friend saying, brother, congratulations on the new kettlebell. Hvala, brate moj. That means thank you, brother. Guys, we can make a whole video about this. I'm how to explain it. I have no really big interest in like advocating for minimalistic training. I'm not a fitness influencer. Yes, I do have training programs. I did do training before, but my brand is not focused on me and doesn't revolve around me selling programs. So I don't have really personal interest into pushing this agenda of you should train minimalistic. No, I just want to say it's incredible how the results that you can achieve with minimalistic, minimal equipment. But people don't know a lot about training. People don't know. Most people don't know a lot about training. And when I say people, I mean fitness professionals don't know a lot about training. So sorry, I get a little bit excited when I talk about this. Of course, gym has priority, but let's talk about it. Yeah, people focus on, yeah, min maxing their schedule before they even get to the basics. Eh, Cash. Let's talk about, yes, yes. Nicola is keeping me accountable. Cash. This is really good question, and also we should make a separate conversation maybe for this, but I will answer it fully. For example, should you date when you're getting yourself together, or should you just so you know what I think? I first think that everyone should ask this same question, because I think this is the fair question to ask. So first because outside of the outside of the I think it's fair to say red pill community of just go monk mode, stay locked in, and uh, build yourself up to your highest version, and then engage with engage in the dating world. Outside of that, you have like normal people, and normal people, a lot of them are, and this again, I want a healthy balance, but I'm maybe even more, not maybe, I'm leaning more towards the red pill advice, because normal people are like, okay, I'm messed up and I'm just going to find a partner because that's like the basic thing that most people do, and then I'm just going to have a kid. So I'm messed up, I'm not fully, I don't fully uh, know who I want to be, what I want out of myself and out of life, but just it's basic thing, find a partner, get get married, have kids. So I think first part is we have to ask this question: should you date? And then my answer is you, you Cash, and you David, and you Nicola, and you Charles, because we are talking about putting yourself together. I'm getting better because I want to. So we're saying putting yourself. Are you on your growth journey, or have you, or have you went down, seriously down, some downward spiral of destructive habits, negative habits, unhealthy, made some big mistakes. So let's also think about that. If your life is relatively stable, yes, I think you should start dating, because you know what you will experience. You will experience the beauty of meeting someone at the point where they see you dream. They see you dream of getting to a certain place in life. And then maybe you will meet someone who is going to laugh at your dream, and maybe you're going to meet someone who is going to say, wow, wow, you're maybe not the richest guy, maybe you're not the most popular guy, but wow, you are a dreamer and you are dreaming with conviction. Wow, how attractive. But if you're going to wait to become the best version of yourself, you will never get that opportunity for someone to see beauty in you being a dreamer, beauty in you aiming high. That's what I think. But if you have a lot of unresolved things in your life, if you have a lot of, again, negative patterns to break, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to wait a bit. I think it's fair to wait a bit, to pick yourself up, and because you said getting yourself together. I'm not in your question was great, but I'm just saying getting yourself together can mean different things. I think a recovering addict, I'm not saying he should be denied a chance for love until he is completely perfect. Life is unpredictable, but I would be, if in that position, I think it would be fair to kind of take things slowly and focus more on getting well. Or maybe it's not addict, maybe it's someone who, I don't know, give me example. Someone who has kind of messed up in life, so he needs to spend some time picking himself up and getting his life sorted out those cases, I think it's fair towards other people not to promise something serious when you're not able to do it. But again, if your life is relatively stable, you don't have to wait to be, I don't know, rich, famous, and have the best body. Let's say that all of those things are within your reach. There, you have the potential for them, but don't wait. I think I, uh, I don't want to say don't wait, because again, this is personal choice. Who am I? Who am I to preach? I want to say, oh, we had a lot of. I went on a rant and we had a lot of interactions here. Wow. Of course, there will be more videos about training, but okay. Uh, I ended the relationship recently because I realized I had to work on myself a lot. It was a really difficult thing to do, but I could not handle both. That's fair. That's listen. Time will go by, and you will reflect on that. I wish for you. You are the one who is uh, going to determine down the road. Now, this was for Dino, who recently ended the relationship. You are the one who is going to determine that if that was the right decision. Your choices and how you position yourself towards life as you move forward. Charles saying, "My girlfriend was a huge inspiration to push me to get better. If you started your journey, people will see beyond your bad habits as long as you work to move forward." That's a great point, and I'm really happy to hear that your girlfriend was a big inspiration to push you to get better. Dino saying, Riza, it wasn't fair to the other person, and I cared too much about them, and it didn't feel right to drag them along and be with them passively, or have them wait for me. While I can relate to this from my previous relationship, I can relate to this because I wasn't there. I wasn't there. You know, I thought it I thought it was love, but I wasn't showing up, so I can relate to that. Nicola saying, ask yourself if she challenges you, because that could help a lot. Imran saying, what a point! I never really thought of it like that. The opportunity of someone witnessing the dreamer. I'm really glad that you like this. I'm glad that you like this point because I hope that more people will consider this. Should one judge their partner based on their past? Oof, that's a really good question. It's difficult to ignore it. Let's put it that way. I don't want now to get into the topic of body count if we're talking about that, but it's difficult to ignore the past. It's difficult to ignore the past, but being again, everything depends on a person. But I can tell you this: listen, being too restrictive. Charles saying like everything is it depends. Kerr saying if the past is with a bunch of people I know personally, I can talk to her. Okay, fair point. Oh, this is going to turn into a masculinity podcast. This live stream. Wait, I have to catch up on. Uh, we had someone say, I think for active negative patterns like an addiction, etc., then actively working is a solution. But sometimes for passive negative habits like trauma, life experience oh, how can open you up to new views. ND NDA France. And can I say it like this? NDE France. Amazing point. I will also take a photo of this. Really. So if active negative patterns that you have to actively work on. Maybe that's how I'm now thinking. Maybe it's you need to focus on getting that sorted out. But if it's like uh, you see passive negative habits, like let's say passive negative patterns like trauma, engaging in new life experience can uh, open you up to new views. So meeting new people and potentially romantic partner can open up, op- open your worldview up. You're in the wrong niche. Uh, Dating advice is the way to go. Nicola, my man, I think that's what a lot of people are interested in because that's one of the main aspects of our life. Yeah, I understand it. It's somewhat paradoxical that suffering is the thing that catalyzes one's own freeing from it. Yes, that's the beauty and pain of life. And this question about past, it's a tricky one. I mean, it will depend. It will depend on a person, on both people. You know, to be honest, I have friends where we probably don't agree. Not probably where we don't completely agree on this. You know, where some of us would be willing to make a compromise that other ones would not, and we are friends. We are best friends. We love each other. We respect each other, but we view these things differently. So I really think there is no one right answer. He's saying that when I met her, I never planned on digging up the past, but it kind of got served on a platter for me. Seems like the core values on some points don't align. Can get rid of the mental can get rid of the mental pictures. That's a difficult one for men, you know, because you are stuck with that image or those images in your mind, and that's rough. That's rough, you know. You know what I have to you know what I have to say, really. I understand the point of past matters and body count matters, but you know also what I know that there are women out there who have had a period of time where they trusted maybe too many men or haven't navigated their love relationships the best, and by most people's standards they have some body count that doesn't make them wife material. Okay, I explained, and I know that there are women out there like that who have made a personal journey where they are now amazing women, faithful women, uh, ready to be great wives and mothers and provide you with such love and support. There are women like that out there. So that's why I cannot accept that just we cross out one person because of that number. I understand that for a man it's extremely difficult, but I also can tell you there are love stories out there where a man is so confident and strong and mature that he is able to deal with that those informations about the past and move forward because he sees the current person in front of him. He sees the quality of that person, and they have happier marriage than 99% of conservative people who got into marriage. I know, virgins. With all respect towards them, but I just say that there are love stories out there where people have really interesting past, but they have moved forward and they have developed as individuals. So we have to acknowledge that. I just think. Dino saying, any thoughts on perception towards men reaching out for counseling therapy, especially in certain cultures with more traditional views on what a man should be? I know personally, for growing up in Serbia, it was looked down upon even with younger people. I understand, brate. I understand. No, I'm not in therapy right now. Just always found it really odd how people perceive it in our part of the world, at least. Yes, yes, yes. It's tricky. We are slowly, because we come from the same part of the world, we are slowly, slowly progressing. How to put this? There is some value in us growing up in a places where the old idea of what a man should be is still considered valid. There is some value in this, but in this aspect, again, I was talking before about balance between toughness and vulnerability. So of course, I want that, and I think there is value to that aspect of toughness. But I think we need to. I'm taking these pauses because I cannot just say, psh, don't care what they say, because it's not easy. Oh, this is a good point by Nicola. Why should they know? You're doing this for yourself. If you were to care about opinion if opinion in Serbia, you'd become just like them. This is true. This is true. I mean, this is something where we have to look at the immediate facts in front of us. What are we dealing with? You know, a little bit careful about uh, people being easily prescribed medication. That's something that but now this is, I'm guessing, outside of what you're asking. I have to mention it because I know somewhere it's easily prescribed. And you know what I'm afraid of? Uh, I'm a little bit afraid of, uh, because in our more conservative areas, uh, I don't know how developed the talking therapy is. So I'm afraid that prescribing a medication is the easiest way to do, the easiest route to go for a lot of therapists. Again, I'm don't be, just sharing some concerns. West too soft, East too tough. To be completely honest, roughly speaking, roughly speaking, I would say so, but I don't want to now seem like I'm calling out West. I don't want to sound like that, really. But there is something to it. Nicole is saying precisely. Okay. Uh, just to see if I'm keeping track of everything. Our friend Truls, who asked about the past. I'm seeking answers because I still want it to lead to something positive. Thank you for the perspective. Thank you for asking this question and being open with us, saying that you're asking for because of personal experience. Thank you for asking question. Consider who is person in front of you right now, not just the past. Charles saying people assume therapy means something is wrong with you. Talking to them about it may be scary, but once they see you for you, it stigmatizes. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. Dino really got me thinking. Because it brought me back to some friends who wanted to go to therapy but didn't want to go to therapy because that's not what we do in our society. it got me thinking about me wanting a family member to go to therapy, but that being, you know, that being out of realm of reality, going to therapy, man. So when you ask this question, it really brought me back to some previous thoughts. Maybe this is something that we should also talk again. David talk no just this is Naruto reference. Uh, and also our friend is saying, Warrior is saying, to be honest, I believe as men we should put toughness first place so we can be vulnerable as much as possible after this trait. Now it's I cannot be quick to say that I mean I respect the idea. I cannot be quick to say if it's toughness or courage or because I'm spend more time thinking in terms of just human. To be honest, even I really enjoy us having men talk, but I also think a lot of times in terms of just humans. So I'm really drawn to courage. That doesn't have to be physical courage. Let's just clarify that. But that's why I was talking about balance between toughness and vulnerability because I do want more healthier perspective than what we are seeing from a lot of masculinity influencers nowadays and gurus. I want to bring more balanced perspective, but vulnerability is courageous. I agree, Charles. I agree that vulnerability is courageous. Yes. I also think that vulnerability is courageous. You know what I said it when I made that video criticizing red pillars and their advice of not opening up to them. I said this that very interesting. Just to finish this thought, Mhm. Let's consider this a journey of a man. So you need to be strong and tough. So let's say that on a base level, you're like a kid. You're like a boy who needs to be protected by his mother, which is how it's supposed to be. Protected by his mother, cared for. So you develop this toughness, strength, resilience. Okay, that's so. But bear with me on this. Yes, you develop in this what man was once supposed to be, and what people in the West now are saying that they are missing, and part of people and saying we have lost these traditional masculine virtues and values. I agree that a lot of people have men have lost, and some women have lost respect for. So okay, back to your journey. So from this boy, timid young boy, you're developing this strong man. And for most people, this is where this development stops, and this is where you're respected as a man. But if we are now talking about being an open-minded individual, let's look at someone. Okay, I understand. Let's who are masculinity examples. Throw out someone. I don't know, some general, some tough guy. But let's take into consideration people like Carl Jung or Alan Watts, or at the end of the day, also Nietzsche, who's not all about toughness. Or let's look at someone like who would that be today? Oh, no, I cannot use example from today. Oh, let's look at people who may be living on a bit higher level of consciousness. After this toughness, you also need to develop. Jung talk about that the most. You also need to acknowledge this this feminine side. If you want to become a whole, full human being, I'm not saying paint your nails. You do what you want to. I'm saying from this strong man, this you are worthy of respect, but you are kind of basic. You are worthy of respect, but you are this strong man who cannot open up and whose uh, this experience of being being a human being, this experience of living as a human being is limited, really limited, because this idea of what a man is supposed to be as it's good, it's valuable, it's worthy of respect, it contributes to the society, but it's limiting what you experience as a human being, because this is what prevents still emotionally weak, and it made me personally feel authentic. You know what I would like to say? Okay, what I would like to share with you. That's why I kind of red pillars and sigma male gurus are laughable to me, because I've grew up in grew up around people who really are what these sigma male are pretending to be. So uh, at a certain point, I kind of learned it. As a man, you are not supposed to be playful, and but as a kid, I was like usually the jokester. But then, as I started developing into a young man and a man, it was kind. Now I, it's not really important. I don't feel the need to share who was my main influence, but it was not someone online. I grew up around it. If you're a real man, you stop being playful. You are serious. You are stoic. I was taught that by people who didn't read Marcus Aurelius, for whom stoicism is something like second nature. So uh, that's what that's all. Okay, you will receive respect. You will be a real man, but your life experience is limited. Your life experience is limited. Uh, you know what is considered, what has been considered emasculine, non-masculine trait for a long, long time. Creativity, creativity, and still to this day. I mean, I don't want now to say some words, because maybe this whole live will get flagged, or but creativity was considered like you are, not real man. So that's what I'm trying to say. I personally am past this. I've way past this level of trying to act tough. That's of course, of course, you need to be tough. But let's see what is beyond, because I think that's basic. Of course, you have to be tough, and you have to be strong, and you have to be capable and competent, and of course, resilient, be able to stand strong in adversity. Of course. But let's look what is. Are we going to stop there? Are we going to stop there and live inside the box and live like constantly tensed? Oh, I am a real man and I cannot play around. I cannot. Dude, can you start dancing with your girlfriend? Can you start dancing with her when you're outside? Or if your manliness is stopping you from that? Because I will tell you, you know how many experiences I've had in my not too distant past, where enjoying my time with my girlfriend or some loved ones was extremely limited. Our ability to enjoy our time together in public by my need to act like a man in public. So that's why I'm telling you, yes, let's be tough, but let's also progress past that. Don't stop at being tough and stoic. That's medium level. This was a rant. This was a this was a rant. Oh, there is a question. What would you say is the best way to rekindle the spark we once had as a child? The competitiveness, the carefree nature. Let's call it like that. Charles is suggesting gratitude. I would agree that gratitude is part of it, and I would say that you have to remember. Start remember. It is not going to happen in a day, but start remembering what were the things that sometime that before got you excited, and uh, what were the things that you gradually stopped engaging in, doing in behavior that you stopped engaging in, and doing activities and behavior you stopped because it wasn't what a man is supposed to do. It's something that a child is supposed to do. So that's something that I think is a that's a journey, that's a process to consider. I'm not saying some, like, I don't know, asking for mother to perform some activities instead of you. I'm asking something that as a child got you excited about life, and then eventually you stopped engaging with it, maybe because a man, real man, is not supposed to engage it, or just society got the better out of you. Maybe some not so good environment, peer pressure into following the latest trends in terms of behavior and hobbies. So I would say review your childhood and what made you in your childhood have that spark. Did you like to draw? Did you like to listen to specific kind of music? Did you have some weird, interesting hobby? I think Shast one. Yin Yang commented. I think in terms of what I was saying about masculinity, that's yeah. For many people, that toughness is still an act to protect from insecurity and judgment. 1000%. 1000%. Shutting the world out is a crutch. You're speaking my language. Definitely. 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 That's what I was saying before. Okay, consider this, guys. Consider this. I made that video about red pill advice of not opening up to women is comes out of review our childhood. Yeah. Uh, I said red pill advice of not don't open up to women comes out of fear, cowardice, because those gurus, most of them are intelligent enough to understand that not all women will disrespect you and leave you for opening up. But it's okay. Maybe because of your status, you have earned yourself a certain, again, level, whatever that means, of woman, and now you're afraid to lose her if you open up because maybe she's with you not from right reasons. That's their perspective, understand? Because most of those men who are giving out advice, they are admittedly with women who are with them just because of their money. So of course he cannot open up. How can he open up when all he has to offer is money? And then she thinks, okay, oh, I'm here because of money. Why I didn't sign up for listening about his inner struggles. There is this other guy who will also provide me with money without talking all this nonsense. So they are translating this to the ordinary guy, to the ordinary guy who is not supposed to be chasing women who are with him, and cannot probably chase women who would be with him just for money. And then, so ordinary guy is taking advice given from perspective of a guy who is uh, with gold diggers. Sorry, I have to say that, gold diggers. Uh, and then he saying, "Ah, stupid advice. Open up to women. If you cry, women will disrespect you." Okay, now I'm to the came to the point. If you cry, women will disrespect you. If you cry in front of them, okay. First off, not if you find the right one, but uh, opening up, opening up. Why does that need to be you breaking down in front of a woman? I'm not saying you cannot. You should find a woman that, if you break down in front of her, she will, she will be there for you. Not breaking down every day. Uh, you should find a, but you know what is troubling in this whole conversation, that you have a mass of men who don't understand that range of human expression is not stone and crying. You know how many different ways of expression and levels of expressing emotion is here. So you have men who say, "Oh, you are stone, or you are crying in front of your woman like a like a weakling." So who is weak here? You're mentally weak if you don't see, if you don't see the range of expressing human emotions. Weak and lazy. I'm not addressing you. It's like I'm talking to them. So that's the problem that we are not addressing, not seeing somehow in this conversation. You see uh, that video got, like, I think it's now almost 2 million views and thousands of comments, and like crying, 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 cannot cry, cannot cry. Where is the range of expressing human emotion? I think it's easy for me to see through the red pill influencer type, because a good majority of grown men around me growing up held the same values, and I could see how negatively that's what I'm talking about. But again, I really have to be careful in my position, not to sound like I'm insulting and calling out people from the West, because that's not my idea. But that's what I'm. This is basically what I'm talking about. Also, I'm grown up people who are what some of these guys are pretending to be, and you can see how, okay, if I have men in my life that I truly love, and they are what some Sigma gurus are trying to be. I love those men and I respect them. And because I love them, I know how much better their life would be if they opened up to be something more than an example of real man. Because I know that that's what I've strived for so many years. And I still, of course, want to be a strong man, but you get my idea. Know how to open up, know how to open up, know how to close up. Of course, there is sometimes necessity to close up, like you put it. Uh, no call out the West mental health practices suck over here. I know that there is crisis in that regard, but this I just my page and was never really geared towards strictly man advice, but I had to get engaged in this conversation, and I will stay engaged with it, because I talked with my friend, when he told me I saw the videos criticizing red pill, and I told him I truly didn't make those videos because I know the topic is popular and it will get views. I truly made those videos because I have two nephews. Have two nephews, and I don't want, they are now 5 and 3 years old. I don't want when they are teenagers, that the prevalent philosophy of young men their age is this hating women and I don't know how to call this. It's weakness. It's weakness. It's weakness disguised as a strength. So that's why I'm engaging in this conversation. I have two nephews, and maybe it sounds stupid, they are still so, but I want to do my part in fighting against this narrative of some really questionable people teaching men how to be men, and really taking advantage of some men who have been hurt through negative experiences in relationships. And besides me wanting to play my part in my nephews growing up, I am still young, and I hope to make a lot of new male friends in my life. And I hope that as I navigate the world, I meet a lot of healthy-minded men. You know, that's also why I'm engaging in this conversation. Healthy-minded, not that everyone should be like I think they should be, but just uh, in the sense that cannot have this coping that what I talked about so much. This coping that every negative experience with women should be translated into all women are bad and there is no hope anymore for healthy relationships, long-term relationships, faithful. Everything is just, everything is now, they teach you to perceive it like a business transaction. Cannot. And if you go into relationships accepting this idea, you know like it's human nature, we are animals, and like like our behavior is already predictable. We have, you know that's what they tell me from red pill doesn't hate women, just states the reality. But reality, how complex human beings are. I understand that there are some basics. I understand, but basics, and there are some things that are repeating themselves. But you have to understand that human being is such a complex creature, and you really want to limit yourself, and you want to approach every relationship like business transaction, then you definitely won't meet the person who is going to shake your world and uh, open up your eyes to see what is possible in terms of love relationship. You will never meet that person if you already approach, okay, this is just business transaction. Do you intend to start a family? Yes, yes. You see, I was a little bit hesitant because I have to say that there were points in my life, especially this dark period, when I thought that I would just not be able to ever be really fully present. And I mean, I'm not in that place anymore. I definitely think that I will be capable for that in the future. Uh, I would like. Do you intend? I would like. I would like. I would like. I also have already. I mean, it's kind of personal, but I have two nephews that are. Maybe I would like to start a family, but I don't have a girlfriend. Nicola, is this question for someone else or for me? Uh, I have two nephews that I don't want to get into my personal situation, but my primary goal in life right now is supporting them because they need they need my support. And or if not supporting him, being available to them. Uh, I can share because probably not a lot of people will watch at the point of 4 hours. Yes, I am in a relationship with a girl that is from a different culture than me. Let's let's either talk about something else or let's not end it here. Let's not end it on my relationship status. Let's something something different. Much love and appreciation. Oh, Oslo! Wow, I have told friends about you, and they find value in your knowledge. The world needs people like you, my friend. Enjoy Christmas. Thank you, thank you. Listen. Don't now say enjoy Christmas, New Year's, because then it's like you will know you will not. It's like you will not be here again before. We will have new videos and hopefully a couple pre-recorded and a couple of lives. So that's why. Okay. I had to make sure. I had to make. Don't now say and then talk next time in January. No. And Nicola, if you're having some thoughts about mixed culture relationships, that's an interesting topic. That's an interesting topic, really, really. Any thoughts or things I missed out on balancing self-compassion with accountability? We didn't touch on that, but you know what? To be completely honest, balancing self-compassion with accountability, I think it would be fair to right now put it in to put it in notes as a video idea, possibly something to discuss also with female part of our audience, just to engage everyone, because I think it's fair. Yes, more live chats in the future, definitely. I'm considering going like really pushing it multiple pre-recorded video like standard YouTube videos per week and maybe one live per week. Let's see, because I think this time of the year is, again, as I said, seasonal. Days getting shorter, people are getting affected by the change of the weather, and I think it's an opportunity for us to get together here for more meaningful conversations than it's possible on Instagram. So now putting in my phone balancing self compassion with accountability. Okay, self balancing self-compassion with accountability. Really enjoy this stream so far. Going to have to go. I think we should all go. We've been together for 4 hours. Going to have to go do some other stuff, but I really love your content. Found your Instagram randomly, but I'm so happy. Thank you, Dino. Thank you for amazing engagement. I want to just check if I can. Nicola, push this question, Nicola. If you think it's interesting to discuss, maybe we could also all together, also females together discuss multi mixed culture relationships. How do they work? Challenges. I can tell you already there are challenges. There are challenges. Thank you, Aaron. Let's end it here on a 4 hour mark. Oof, it was amazing. I could do this every day, guys. don't don't get me to do this every day because I could. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for the engagement. Thank you. I mean, I could keep saying thank you. We had our ultra marathon. True. Charles, sorry for putting off work because of this, but thank you for amazing engagement, amazing questions, amazing insights, Nicola, Dino, everyone. I don't want now to single out because everyone who engaged, everyone who watched, thank you so much. Thank you. I need to learn to pronounce all of these names. See you. Thank you. You are all positive influence. You are all inspiration and encouragement for me. I'm grateful to you. Let's end it and talk to you soon. I promise. I love you also. I love all of you. And just so you know, all of you are part of my gratitude practice. So you should know that every morning, maybe I cannot list everyone's name, but every morning I think of all of you. So if it's the start of your day, have a great day. If it's midday, I hope you continue moving through the day well, with confidence, with enthusiasm. And if your day is ending, good night and have a great rest of the weekend. And I promise to talk to you really soon.